Blind date, but I walked into the wrong room and was confessed to instead. Green Vine City, April, with grass growing and orioles flying. Outside a high-end hotel. Fang Zheng, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit, stood helplessly at the entrance of the hotel. He wasn't here for a meal, he was here for a blind date. His blind date today was the daughter of his mother's square dance partner, and apparently, she was just a year younger than him. She had graduated with a master's degree and was said to be quite beautiful. Although blind dates had become a tradition for single adults after graduation, there was a special kind of blind date that older generations assumed was the way to go. According to his mom, this girl didn't actually want to date. She hadn't even given him her WeChat, and the only reason she agreed to meet today was because her parents had insisted and pressured her. His mom had told him to make the most of the opportunity and perform well. But times have changed, Mom. This isn't the pre-reform era anymore. Now, when a girl says she doesn't want to date, there are all kinds of reasons behind it. If she didn't want to meet, this blind date wouldn't be happening at all. It was clear that this meeting was just to appease the parents. Fortunately, Fang Zheng wasn't just here for the blind date. Before graduation, he had awakened a system called Super Teacher. The system told Fang Zheng that as long as he worked at a top 100 school within the province, he would receive generous rewards. However, the system hadn't been unlocked yet, and Fang Zheng was planning to apply to the school that the system had mentioned in the afternoon. As Fang Zheng walked into the hotel, a pretty young female receptionist smiled and nodded. "Good afternoon, sir. Do you have a reservation?" Fang Zheng recited the room number his mom had given him. To be honest, it was inconvenient because he hadn't even added the girl on WeChat. "Yes, I'm supposed to go to room 503. The receptionist suddenly frowned. 503. "Oh, that room isn't available today. It's undergoing some repairs after an unexpected issue. Could it be that you have the wrong room number?" "Huh?" Fang Zheng was taken aback. "Repairs?" He took out his phone, looking suspiciously at the message his mom had sent. "Who are you and mom, son, good luck. This girl is a perfect match for you. She has just graduated and, like you, is applying to become a teacher. I've arranged for you to meet her at 503 in the Fuhai Hotel. Be there by 9 a.m. sharp, don't be late. Wishing you success, son." It really was room 503, but if it's under renovation, how could he contact her since he didn't even have her WeChat? Just as Fang Zheng was about to call his mom to explain, the receptionist seemed to have had a thought and asked tentatively, "Sir, you're not here just for a meal, are you?" Fang Zheng looked up at her. "No," he replied casually. The receptionist asked again, "Are you here to meet your girlfriend?" He couldn't exactly say he was here for a blind date somehow, it felt weird. But what did the receptionist mean by asking? Something like that. "Why?" Fang Zheng replied. The receptionist suddenly smiled. "You're here for a blind date at our hotel, right?" Great, she nailed it. The receptionist continued, "Room 503 may be under renovation, but a lady arrived at the hotel at 8 a.m. She has been waiting in room 502 next door. That's probably the person you're meeting." Fang Zheng perked up. Wasn't she the one who didn't want to date? Why was she here so early? To avoid misunderstandings, he asked, "Are you sure? She is here for a blind date too." The receptionist shook her head. "I didn't ask, but she was the first guest of the day, and you're the second. It's pretty rare for anyone to come for breakfast here." Looking at the receptionist's confirmation, Fang Zheng swallowed. It made sense. High-end hotels were usually places for business elites or bosses to meet for lunch or evening gatherings, but who would come here for breakfast? Fang Zheng put away his phone. "Got it. I'll go up now." Upstairs, in front of room 502, Fang Zheng noticed the temporarily closed sign on the door next to him. He figured the girl probably heard from the receptionist that room 503 was under renovation and chose the neighboring room instead. He adjusted his suit. After the meal, he was going to a school interview, so he had dressed in a slightly formal suit. Suits were the go-to for many occasions: weddings, funerals, interviews, blind dates, it worked for everything. While wearing a suit for a blind date might seem too formal, since the girl probably wasn't serious, he figured it was fine. It was just a formality. At the door of room 502, Fang Zheng knocked. The voice of a woman came quickly from inside, cold and distant. Come in. Fang Zheng opened the door, and as soon as he entered, he was struck speechless by the woman sitting at the table. His mom had said that the girl he was meeting was probably pretty, but Fang Zheng hadn't expected her to be this beautiful. The woman was wearing a black pencil skirt, paired with high heels and sheer black stockings. Her simple white shirt clung to her delicate skin. Though the outfit seemed plain at first glance, it looked stunning on her perfect figure. And her face, it was cold, but undeniably beautiful. She looked like a glamorous, icy queen. But was his blind date supposed to be a sweet girl next door? Why had she turned into such a stunning woman? Her yellow, slightly curly hair framed her face, and the artistic earrings swayed gently. Looking up at Fang Zheng, she seemed confused. Who are you? Fang Zheng was stunned for a moment before he snapped back to reality. Hello, I'm here for the blind date. I'm Fang Zheng, you must be Aunt Zheng's daughter. I didn't expect you to arrive so early. Sorry about that. Blind date. The woman furrowed her brows, looking utterly incredulous. You're here for a blind date with me? Yes. Fang Zheng swallowed hard. This woman was tough. He could tell right away. Whatever, let's just get this over with and leave. He walked to the table, pulled out a chair, and sat down without hesitation. This was the luxury of high-end hotels. The room was large, with a variety of decorations scattered around. There was only one slightly larger table for two people to eat at. This private room clearly wasn't cheap, and Fang Zheng knew he'd be paying a lot for this meal out of courtesy. The woman stared at him, surprised by his actions. Fang Zheng spoke immediately, since I have work this afternoon, I won't waste time. I know a bit about your situation, and I'm guessing this blind date is something your family pressured you into, right? If you're not willing, we can both leave now. We can just make up an excuse if our families ask later. The woman blinked in disbelief. You know who I am? Fang Zheng sighed. Not really. How would I know? You didn't even give me your WeChat. But since we're already here, let's just be honest with each other. I won't waste your time. The woman straightened her posture. Her $1 million earrings might seem like just a beautiful accessory to Fang Zheng, but if someone from the upper class saw this scene, they'd probably be shocked by Fang Zheng's boldness in sitting down. The woman took a good look at him. About 1.82 meters tall, he wasn't exactly drop-dead gorgeous, but he was clean-cut and handsome. Most notably, his bright eyes set him apart from the men in her business circle. This young man was out here for a blind date. Back in school, women like her would have been dying for a guy like him. Just as Fang Zheng was wondering whether he should just leave now, there was a knock on the door. Excuse me. Excuse me. The woman looked at Fang Zheng, still cold. Come in. The female receptionist entered, blushing slightly, and immediately gave a deep bow to both Fang Zheng and the woman. I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. The person you're supposed to meet is in room 501, not here. I got it wrong, sorry. Chapter 2, Can I leave after teasing you? Fang Zheng stood frozen, utterly dumbfounded. This is so embarrassing. The female server glanced at Fang Zheng's awkward face, bending her waist and avoiding eye contact. She even bowed slightly to the lady sitting next to her. I'm so sorry, I'm still new here. I didn't ask properly. Please forgive me. The server said apologetically. Fang Zheng turned stiffly and looked at the beautiful lady sitting at the table. She was still observing him, but her lips slowly curled into a smile. It seemed she also found the situation rather awkward. Fang Zheng stammered, I think I've come to the wrong room. I thought you were here for a blind date too. The elegant woman suddenly let out a small laugh, covering her mouth and shaking her head. I never said I was here for a blind date. Fang Zheng laughed awkwardly. If there were a hole in the floor right now, he would probably dive straight into it. How could anything be more embarrassing than walking into the wrong room for a blind date and getting the wrong person? This was worse than being caught watching an adult film by your parents. Fang Zheng repeatedly apologized, standing up carefully and returning the chair to its place. Upon reflection, he realized that his mother had said the girl he was meeting for the blind date was only a year younger than him, a recent graduate, but the woman in front of him didn't look like she was a year younger at all. All he had wanted was to get the blind date over with quickly, but now, look at what had happened. He followed the server out of the room. Before he left, she bowed again, apologizing once more, then slowly closed the door behind him. However, after Fang Zheng left, the woman with the wavy hair slowly let her smile fade. Blind date. The thought of those two words made Jiang Xiao's head ache. Especially when she remembered what her mother had said about it, she felt even more troubled. Xiao, when are you going to find a son-in-law and get married? I know you're busy with work, but at least have a relationship first. You're 28 this year, and in 2 more years, it'll be too late. Xiao, sometimes as a mother, I feel really sorry for you. Your dad passed away so early, and I'm getting older and can't help you with the business. You've had to manage everything by yourself, and you haven't even had time for the things you like. Xiao, maybe you should hire a few more managers to help share the load. You can't just pour your whole life into the company. You need to think about your personal life too. Thinking of her mother's words, especially her mother's face that looked so pitiful when she said them, Jiang Xiao felt a pang of guilt. She was 28 now and had never been in a relationship. Since her father passed away in a car accident 10 years ago, Jiang Xiao had poured all her energy into work. In the blink of an eye, she was almost 30. She didn't want to keep making excuses like her mother did. Of course, she wanted to take time for herself to do what she liked, but the company was so busy. Here she was, waiting for a private meeting with a boss, and had already been sitting for an hour. Once the contract discussion was done, it would probably already be afternoon, and then she had a meeting to attend. Personal life? She didn't even have time for that. Dating was an especially wasteful use of time. She didn't even have the energy for it. Just as she was thinking about it, Jiang Xiao's eyes suddenly brightened a little as she stared at the door. Wait a second. The guy just now said he was here for a blind date, didn't he? That means, like her, he was single. His appearance and posture were pretty good, and from his tone, it seemed like his blind date was just a formality, just like hers. What if she proposed to him to pretend to be a couple for a while, just to appease her mother? After all, he didn't seem serious about finding a partner either, which suited her just fine. After Fang Zheng left the room, the server walked beside him, apologizing again and again. She hoped he wouldn't complain about her and promised that if he ever came back to eat at the hotel, they would offer him a complimentary fruit platter. This was about all the compensation she, as a new employee, could manage to offer. Fang Zheng, however, was certain he would never come back to this place, especially not for a fruit platter. The hotel had a permanent mark in his memory now. It's fine, don't worry about it. Just get back to work, I'm not bothered by it, he said with a forced smile. The server nodded, relieved that Fang Zheng wasn't upset. Standing outside room 501, Fang Zheng adjusted his clothes. He hoped this time he wouldn't make another mistake. If he did, he might as well just disappear. He knocked on the door, and a cold voice responded from inside. Come in. As he entered, he saw a girl in a white long-sleeve shirt and a yellow skirt, with a low ponytail. She was pretty, but compared to the beautiful woman in the neighboring room, she didn't stand out as much. Fang Zheng greeted her, "Hello, I'm here for a blind date." "I'm Fang Zheng, you must be Aunt Zhang's daughter." The girl stood up and smiled. "Yes, hello, I'm Dong Qian. Your Aunt Hua's son, right?" Fang Zheng breathed a sigh of relief. His mom's last name was indeed Hua, so this must be the right person. Yes. He walked over to pull out a chair, but before he could sit down, the door suddenly opened. It was the beautiful woman from the neighboring room again, but this time, she was accompanied by 2 large, burly men wearing black sunglasses, like bodyguards. What was going on here? Is it appropriate to tease me and then go on a blind date with someone else? Jiang Xiao asked coldly. Fang Zheng was stunned. Huh. The girl beside him was also shocked. Who are you? What did you just say? Jiang Xiao glared at Fang Zheng, and with a motion of her head, the 2 burly men stepped forward, grabbing Fang Zheng by the shoulders. Fang Zheng panicked. What are you doing? Jiang Xiao's tone was calm but laced with anger. Is it normal to change blind date partners halfway through? Take him away. Fang Zheng struggled a little, but the strength of the 2 men was immense. It felt like he was being squeezed like a chicken. Of course, if he really wanted to escape, he could. After all, running away wasn't the same as fighting. He had learned a thing or two in his life. But the woman had a point. He had walked into her room and acted inappropriately, saying things like, "Let us just break up and go our separate ways," out of nowhere. Even if it was a misunderstanding, if she had a boyfriend or a husband, what he said would have gotten him beaten up. Before he was dragged away, he gave a final glance at the girl sitting at the table, who hadn't understood what was happening. Hey, you saw that, right? I guess this isn't going to work out. Maybe we'll meet again next time. He hoped the pretty lady wouldn't hold this against him. Dragged out of the hotel, Fang Zheng noticed a long Bentley parked outside. Jiang Xiao opened the car door and stepped inside, giving Fang Zheng a glance. Get in. The two bodyguards stepped aside but still stood behind Fang Zheng as if to make sure he didn't run off. Seeing the luxury car, Fang Zheng realized this woman was definitely someone of high status after all, who could afford such an expensive car. He apologized sincerely. I really didn't mean to tease you earlier. I just walked into the wrong room by mistake. Jiang Xiao shot a look at the two bodyguards, and they forced Fang Zheng into the back seat. After the car door closed, Jiang Xiao looked at Fang Zheng, who was now sitting next to her. She turned to the driver and ordered calmly, "Drive. To the usual place." Fang Zheng's mind raced. The usual place? Where was she taking him? What did she have planned? Chapter 3, How About Being My Boyfriend? The car sped down the asphalt road. Although Fang Zheng was practically forced into the car, once inside, the woman didn't do anything excessive. When Fang Zheng asked where she was taking him, she didn't respond. It wasn't until the Bentley pulled into a huge underground parking lot, which seemed like a private one, guarded by a young staff member at the entrance, that the car stopped. After the driver got out, closed the door, and walked away, only Jiang Xiao remained in the car with Fang Zheng. Let's introduce ourselves first, Jiang Xiao said coldly. I'm Jiang Xiao, the owner of a small company. A small company? The owner of a small company driving a multi-million-dollar Bentley. Fang Zheng, how about being my boyfriend? She suddenly asked. You were just on a blind date, right? Whether it's with that girl or with me, it should make no difference to you. Fang Zheng was stunned. He thought she had brought him here for some other reason. But her words were a complete shock. Sis, are you joking? Come on, stop messing with me. I didn't mean to. That waitress tricked me, he stammered. Jiang Xiao's icy gaze scanned him, then she asked, How old are you? Fang Zheng replied honestly, I'm 24. Jiang Xiao nodded, I'm 28, we're almost the same age. What do you do for a living? 28? Same age. Fang Zheng thought to himself. This woman was really shameless. Sis, I'm bad at math, but we're not the same age, right? He trailed off. Do you think I'm old? Jiang Xiao cut him off. If you don't answer my question, I'll make it hard for you to leave here. This is my territory. Fang Zheng sighed helplessly and responded, I just graduated. I don't have a job yet. I plan to apply for a teaching position at a school this afternoon. Does that count as a job? Jiang Xiao raised an eyebrow. A teacher? Is the salary good? Not really. I haven't started yet, but I heard it's about 1,500 a month during the internship, Fang Zheng said. Jiang Xiao gave him a strange look, as if she thought he was lying. Do you have a car? She asked. Fang Zheng shook his head. Jiang Xiao pointed to a red Porsche parked in the lot. How about that car? If you agree to be my boyfriend, I'll give it to you. Fang Zheng turned to look at the luxury car. He was stunned. Do you own a house? She asked again when he remained silent. Fang Zheng shook his head once more. Jiang Xiao took out her phone and started searching something on an app. After finding it, she turned the phone toward Fang Zheng, showing him a picture. I just bought a 200-300 square meter villa in the province a few days ago. I was planning to use it as a personal warehouse. If you agree to be my boyfriend, I'll give it to you too. Fang Zheng stared at the phone. The villa looked worth at least 30 million yuan. According to his teacher's salary, even if he worked from the Qing dynasty until now, he could never afford it. What was this woman trying to do? Was she just showing off her wealth? Even Fang Zheng wasn't foolish enough to think that just because he accidentally walked into the wrong room, a rich woman would suddenly be interested in him. Jiang Xiao continued, Do you still think I'm old now? Aren't we the same age? Boyfriend. Fang Zheng slapped his forehead. He wanted to shout out, So what if you're rich? Old is old. But when he looked at her beautiful face and her overwhelming wealth, he kept his thoughts to himself. Everyone wants to marry a rich woman, but only when you're really desperate would you consider it as a shortcut to success. But now, Fang Zheng had a system. Once he started his teaching job, the system would issue him tasks, and once completed, there'd be rewards. At that point, these cars and villas would be within his grasp. Though Fang Zheng didn't know what exactly the system would offer him, weren't all systems like that in novels? They always start with billions of dollars and crazy rewards. So, Fang Zheng leaned back in his seat, calming himself by observing the luxury cars in the parking lot. He straightened up and said seriously, "Sis, I'm not interested in all of this. I really just walked into the wrong room. How about I apologize again? I'm really sorry. I have an interview later this afternoon. I need to leave. Goodbye." Fang Zheng opened the door and got out of the car. Jiang Xiao, who had been exuding an air of authority over him, didn't he expect a young man to reject such offers of wealth? She had never met a young man who refused such things. But if he didn't want money, what else could she offer? "Are you really leaving?" she asked in a softer tone. Then she saw Fang Zheng's footsteps slow down. Fang Zheng turned back, noticing that her tone had changed, and he realized that this sister was actually willing to speak kindly. Jiang Xiao, who had spent years in the business world, immediately had an idea. It seemed this young man responded better to a softer approach. "Is there anything else?" Fang Zheng asked, noticing the change in her attitude. Jiang Xiao let go of her usual employee stance and calmly said, "I may not have explained myself clearly earlier. I want you to be my boyfriend, but not for real. Just pretend. My family is pushing me to find someone urgently. Since you were just on a blind date, you should understand my situation. Pretend to be her boyfriend." Jiang Xia said, "Can you sit back down? Let us talk about it. If you're going to school later, I can arrange a car for you. It'll be faster than taking a taxi." A female CEO asking him to pretend to be her boyfriend. It sounded surreal. But when he saw Jiang Xiao's expression soften, it was such a stark contrast to her earlier arrogance, Fang Zheng found himself sitting back down without thinking. It wasn't because of the wealth, it was because she was just too beautiful. Once Fang Zheng sat back down, Jiang Xia couldn't help but smile and teasingly asked, "You only respond to soft approaches, huh? Boyfriend?" Fang Zheng felt like he was being played. He rolled his eyes but didn't show it, saying, "I don't know if you're joking with me, but like you, my family has been pushing me for a blind date too. If you're serious, I'll agree. But if I need you, you can't back out, like if my mom calls and asks you to answer. And if you need my help, I'll help you too. What do you think?" Jiang Xiao looked more serious. "It sounds like I'm at a disadvantage here. I've offered you a car and a house, and now you want me to be at your beck and call. I never asked for your car or house. I don't need them. I just need the boyfriend thing to be clear." Jiang Xia thought for a moment, then nodded. "All right, it's settled then. Let us exchange numbers. I'll contact you soon." Fang Zheng took out his phone, and they exchanged phone numbers and WeChat. Afterward, Jiang Xiao, as a habit, tried to shake his hand. Her tone returned to cold professionalism as she said, "I hope we can work well together." Fang Zheng raised an eyebrow. With a sigh, he reluctantly shook her hand. "Can you please change the way you speak to people? Has anyone told you that it makes you seem too serious?" Jiang Xiao paused, noticing her habit of acting like she did with clients. She nodded and retracted her hand. "I'll try to change. After we get out, I'll have someone take you. We'll be in touch." Chapter 4, Class Teacher of Grade 4, Junior High School. Contact again now? It's just like negotiating a business deal. Once the deal is done, we go our separate ways. I am just a complete tool. Fang Zheng got out of the car and stood nearby. He saw the Bentley that Jiang Xia was riding in slowly driving away from the underground parking lot. At the same time, an Audi drove over and the driver got out and came to Fang Zheng. "Mr. Fang, Mr. Jiang asked me to take you there." He was a relatively young driver, and his attitude was very humble. Fang Zheng glanced at the time. It was already 10:30. Last night, he had called the school selected by the system and scheduled the interview time for noon today. There was still plenty of time. "Fang Zheng, please take me to Tulip Middle School, thank you. The driver opened the door for Fang Zheng and said respectfully, yes, sir, please get in the car. It can be said that the boss is treated differently. He is given a special car and someone helps him open the car door. He even puts his hands on the eaves of the car to prevent himself from hitting his head. Fang Zheng had only seen this kind of etiquette in TV dramas. Along the way, the young driver chatted with Fang Zheng from time to time, but seeing that Fang Zheng was not responding enthusiastically, the driver, who was very good at reading people's expressions, did not say anything else. He just drove the car more steadily, hoping to leave a good impression on his boss's friends. Fang Zheng got off the car at the gate of Tulip Middle School. Ever since Fang Zheng received a notification from the system that he wanted to be a teacher at this school, he had investigated the background of this school in detail. Tulip Middle School is a private school. The students' families are generally above the middle class, and there are very few who are short of money. But because of this, although this school has complete facilities, good treatment, environment, accommodation and canteen, the students there are difficult to manage. Especially last night when Fan was searching for useful information about this school on the internet, he also saw that there was a particularly famous class in this school. Grade 3, Class 4, is known online as their death class. It is said that this class has had more than a dozen head teachers, 7 of whom resigned because they could not manage the students. 2 of them were inexplicably hospitalized, 2 of them were forced into stress-related psychological disorders by their students, and 1 is still receiving rehabilitation treatment in a mental hospital. In short, all kinds of strange reasons for leaving their jobs are endless. It is rumored that many teachers are afraid to enter this class to teach. Even if they do, the students in the classroom are either sleeping soundly or skipping classes en masse. When Fang Zheng saw the post about the death class that night, he suddenly had a bad feeling in his heart. The system won't allow me to be a teacher in this class, right? When Fang Zheng nervously called the school, he found out that the interviewer was actually the principal of the school. When I went to the office, I found that it was a middle-aged woman in her 50s. Although she was a little old, she still maintained a well-maintained figure and her eyes were very elegant. Compared with ordinary teachers, it was easy to see that her temperament was different. The principal sat in the leather chair in his office, staring at Fang Zheng's resume. I have a postgraduate degree and I'm a fresh graduate. I even won the top 3 in the city essay competition when I was in college. Not bad, but teacher Fang, have you passed your teaching certificate? Fang Zheng answered truthfully, I am currently applying for the exam. I think it will be approved in a few months. The principal placed the resume on the table and examined Fang Zheng's appearance and demeanor. You should be able to apply for a teacher's certificate during college. It seems that you didn't plan to join the teaching industry at first. Can I ask you why you suddenly wanted to become a teacher after graduation? Fang Zheng pursed his lips and said, do you believe me if I say that it was the system that made me do this? Fang Zheng said, I think being a teacher is a very honorable profession. Teaching and educating people, and cultivating a new generation of social elites, I also want to try to contribute to the new generation of flowers in the motherland. The principal nodded and said, very good. These were all polite words, but she felt more at ease because Fang Zheng had such academic qualifications. Very good. Teacher Fang is very welcome to join our school. However, there is one thing I need to discuss with you in advance. Ding! It has been detected that the host has successfully completed the pre-activation task, and the super teacher system has been officially activated. Newbie tasks are being released. Please select Grade 3, Class 4 in the next selection of the principal. If you make a successful selection, you will receive a mysterious basic reward. If you do not make a selection, the system will uninstall it and the next activation time is unknown. Fang Zheng. He guessed it. But what will the mysterious basic reward be? Fang Zheng had read quite a few novels when he was in school, and the system has never been stingy. The principal said, there are actually only 2 vacancies in our school right now. One is for the 3rd grade art teacher and the other is for logistics management. Because the art teacher has fewer classes, he or she also has to manage the school's supplies on weekdays. Teacher Fang, can you understand? Fang Zheng nodded. On paper he was a teacher, but in reality he was just a warehouse manager. It was not difficult to understand. The principal continued, then the other position is the Chinese teacher of grade 3 class 4, that is, their homeroom teacher. Because their homeroom teacher of grade 3 class 4 is in the hospital for some special reasons, the position is vacant. Well, compared with the two positions, their homeroom teacher's salary is definitely higher, but. Fang Zheng suddenly interrupted and said, "No need, principal. I know a little about the situation of that class. I will choose you as the head teacher. Don't worry, no matter what difficulties lie ahead, I will definitely be able to do the job." The principal was stunned for a moment, then nodded with a smile. "Okay, I like energetic young people. Then you can report to the third grade dean first, and then meet with the students in the afternoon." "No problem, principal. I'll go then." Fang Zheng nodded and left the principal's office. Fortunately, he had made sufficient preparations since he knew about the system. What death class or no death class? I have the system now, so there is nothing to be afraid of. Besides, no matter how naughty those kids are, they are just students. After all, I am an experienced person and I am very familiar with some tricks to scare people. He went to the dean's office on the third floor. The so-called dean was a middle-aged man who was older than the principal. He wears glasses and has a bald head, which is a symbol of wisdom. It seems that many school principals have this hairstyle. When the other party heard that Fang Zheng was applying for the position of head teacher of grade 3, class 4, he was immediately surprised. The other 3 teachers in the office were all impressed and shocked. The dean arranged a desk for Fang Zheng and said that if he was sure he wanted to continue with the job after meeting the students this afternoon, he would continue to give Fang Zheng meal cards, paper, pens and other teacher supplies. Without further delay, after Fang Zheng finished talking to the dean of studies, he immediately wanted to go and see what the legendary death class looked like. Chapter 5 Gifts from Students. I went to the third floor and searched one by one according to the class numbers at the door. The system task has been completed. Congratulations to their host for receiving the reward insect body. Your body will gain 10 times the antibodies, 10 times the defense, and your physical fitness will be improved tenfold. New task released. Please establish a strong image of a class teacher in the minds of students as soon as possible, and officially start your Chinese course within 3 days, otherwise the task will fail and the system will reclaim the reward. As soon as the system finished speaking, Fang Zheng felt a strange sensation in his body in the corridor. Originally he was a little sleepy because he stayed up late to search for information last night, but after obtaining the insect body, Fang Zheng clearly felt that not only did the feeling of sleepiness and fatigue disappear, the strength and speed of his limbs have also improved, and he now feels like I am possessed by it man. I wanted to shout out on the spot, I want to beat 10 of them. It was strange, why did the system reward me to improve my physical fitness? To be honest, in the novels Fang Zheng had read before, shouldn't the rewards for completing system tasks be luxury cars, mansions, money and assets? And there are some problems with the second task. Start the Chinese language course within 3 days. It doesn't sound difficult. I feel like I just greeted the students this afternoon. This task will be completed successfully tomorrow. Just as Fang Zheng was thinking this, he suddenly felt a commotion in his ears, and the noisy sound became louder and louder. There was obviously no such noise in other classes, but the sound became louder and louder in class 4, grade 3, which was near the end of the corridor. Fang Zheng carefully looked through the window and saw the scene in the classroom. He finally understood the reason why it was called their death class. The crowded high-end classroom was filled with smoke and was extremely noisy. Several male students were playing games on laptops in the classroom, shouting "Pentacle, Pentacle." Some girls were sitting around a hot pot that was brought from somewhere, picking up the mutton and shrimp paste with chopsticks. There were also people playing poker, doing yoga, sleeping, and even playing table tennis in the classroom. Anyway, it looks a mess. Apart from studying, people are doing all kinds of things here. Fang Zheng was just about to go into the classroom to say hello to this group of lovely students when he saw a ping-pong ball flying straight towards his face. But Fang Zheng did not panic. Although the ping-pong ball was very fast, it failed to break the classroom glass. The ball just hit the glass with a muffled sound. The students who were playing table tennis in the classroom were surprised to see that the male teacher who was staring at them outside the classroom was not afraid at all. This teacher is quite interesting. He doesn't even hide. You must be scared, silly. Keep fighting, don't worry about the teacher. If I win this round again, you will owe me 500 yuan. TSK, can I lose to you again? Fang Zheng calmed himself down. Fortunately, when he investigated this school last night, he specially studied this third grade class because of the problem of naughty students. The glass and wooden doors of this classroom are basically specially made, as they may be damaged due to students playing around and need to be replaced frequently. Fang Zheng had only imagined what it would be like to be a student without anyone supervising him, but it really opened his eyes to see that no one cared about him playing table tennis or eating hot pot in the classroom. When he reached the classroom door, Fang Zheng was about to push it open when he suddenly thought of something. Could there be something on the door? Sure enough, when I looked up, I saw a basin full of flour placed above the door. This group of students were obviously waiting for me to open the door and give me a hard time. Fortunately, I came prepared. It's not in vain that I have been a student for so many years. Fang Zheng took the basin off the table, opened the door and entered the classroom. Someone in the classroom saw Fang Zheng dodge the first level of the trap, but no one paid any attention to him. Those who want to have hot pot continue to have hot pot, and those who want to play games continue to play games. Fang Zheng observed the ground to make sure there was no banana peel or lubricant on it, then he walked to the podium, where the stool was placed upright. In addition to the chalk box, there were 3 gift boxes with cartoon patterns on the table. This must be because these students knew that a new head teacher would be coming today. So I specially prepared a little gift for myself. Fang Zheng picked up the chalk and wrote his name on the blackboard. Then he said in a loud voice, "Hello, students of Class 4, Grade 3. I am your future homeroom teacher, Fang Zheng. We can get to know each other this afternoon. No one cares about me." Fang Zheng frowned and kicked the chair under the lecture hall away. There must be something wrong with the chair. It was probably coated with glue or something. Fang Zheng definitely won't believe it if there is nothing. Fang Zheng kicked the chair aside. He stood in the middle of the desk and carefully opened the first gift that his classmates had prepared for him. Then Fang Zheng's brows furrowed even more. Is there something else in the box? It turned out to be a bunch of small white worms. They were the kind with segmented bodies and hunched bodies. There was a piece of paper that kept shaking on the bug. "Teacher, this is a snack specially prepared for you by the students. Please enjoy it." Fang Zheng suddenly laughed. It was just a little trick. What do you think your teacher did in school? He raised his head and said to the noisy classroom, "Students have prepared snacks for the teacher." Thank you, thank you." Then he grabbed a few bugs with his hands. Although the students in the classroom were busy with their own things, their eyes were always observing Fang Zheng's reaction. Seeing Fang Zheng grabbing a few insects in his hand, they all became quiet and looked at Fang Zheng intently. "This teacher is a little different." Fang Zheng explained, "The insects you gave me are larvae of Coleoptera insects. In the wild, they feed on rotten wood. You should have bought them online, right? The protein in these insects is 6 times that of beef. You can eat them after removing the heads. I will eat them for you to watch." In front of everyone, he pinched off the heads of the insects and slowly put them into his mouth. Some girls in the classroom have covered their mouths. Their hot pot on the table no longer smells good, and they look uncomfortable. Fang Zheng chewed generously, not shying away from saying, "It's very crunchy and has a chicken flavor. I won't eat it all. You can try what you want later." He swallowed the bug and continued to open the second gift box. The classroom had already become quiet after seeing him eating the bug. Fang Zheng felt that the second gift was not as exciting as the first one. It was a cobra with its mouth tied. As soon as the box was opened, the snake immediately wrapped around Fang Zheng's palm. However, Fang Zheng did not panic. Instead, he treated the snake as a watch and tied a knot around his wrist. The students were stunned. Fang Zheng said, "It seems that the students have a good sense of prevention. They know that cobras are poisonous, and they specially tied their mouths for the teacher. It's very thoughtful. Thank you for giving me this little pet." Fang Zheng opened the third box, but there was nothing special in the last box, just a dozen photos. Fang Zheng flipped through it. What are these photos? In the classroom, a male student with earrings sitting at the back suddenly said, "Teacher, these are the 13 homeroom teachers who previously supervised us. Please look at the back of the photo. It says the reasons for their resignation." Fang Zheng turned the photos over and found that there were indeed a few small words on the back of each photo. "I resigned because I broke my right leg after jumping off a building. I resigned because I was labeled with on the blackboard. I resigned because I was electrocuted and had a heart attack." Fang Zheng raised his head. "I think nothing happened to these teachers in the end, right?" The boy replied, "No one died. But now we will know whether they can live a normal life. Teacher, I advise you not to be our class teacher. otherwise you may become a photo and be put in a box by us in the future. Fang Zheng looked at the classmate and said with a fake smile, "Oh, really? Thank you for the reminder, but I'm not afraid. Please put away the computers on your desks. Let's have hot pot and start class." Chapter 6 Super Teacher. This teacher is a bit ungrateful. The boy with earrings was leaning on the table, not only crossing his legs, but also using one arm to support the table behind him like a big brother. The boy glanced at the classmate on his right. Because there were only single desks in the classrooms of Tulip Middle School, there was no such thing as sitting at the same table. Every student was independent. Dongfang, get him? The boy next to him, who was called Dongfang by the guy with earrings, was named Shang Dongfang. He wore glasses and had a flat head, and looked very honest. Hearing the voice beside him, Shang Dongfang looked at the cobra wrapped around his wrist on the podium with some fear, shrank his neck and whispered timidly, "Brother Biao, no. That's not good. What if something goes wrong?" The man with the earrings smacked his tongue and kicked Shang Dongfang hard on the butt. "Coward. What are you afraid of? I'm here if anything goes wrong. Just listen to me. Go ahead." Shang Dongfang looked at the threatening expression of the man with earrings and took out a small button-like object from his bag. He muttered something in his mind, as if he was praying for Fang Zheng. When the button was pressed, the metal band with the cobra's mouth tied around Fang Zheng's wrist actually made an electric shock sound. An electric current, which was not fatal but enough to make a person unconscious, sizzled in the man's hand. But now Fang Zheng has the body of an insect, and the electric current stimulates Fang Zheng and the poisonous snake at the same time. As a result, the poisonous snake is stimulated by the electric current and twists and turns violently, but Fang Zheng is unharmed. The man with earrings was stunned when he saw this scene, and looked at Fang Zheng with suspicion. "No way, this teacher isn't even afraid of electric shock. This is the electric current bracelet I bought online." At this moment, after the electric shock bracelet briefly released a strong current, black smoke unexpectedly came out for some reason, and the metal ring burned and collapsed in the middle. The cobra was free. The cobra, paralyzed by the electric current, was ready to attack. Its tail was wrapped around Fang Zheng's arm, and its bloody mouth was wide open. "Teacher, teacher! Snake! Snake!" Some of the more timid students in the classroom were so scared when they saw this scene that they didn't care about whether it was a prank or not. After all, the cobra is now standing up with its tongue sticking out. They didn't expect such a situation to happen. Originally, they just planned to use electric shock bracelets to bully the new teacher. But now the cobra unexpectedly broke free from its restraints and aimed at Fang Zheng's wrist. The two fangs pierced the skin fiercely, and venom mixed with blood flowed down Fang Zheng's arm. There was a panicked cry in the classroom. "Teacher!" But who would have thought that just when everyone was frightened and thought he had caused a big disaster, Fang Zheng, who had been bitten by a poisonous snake, remained calm and composed. Because of the reward the system had just given him, his body had become immune to almost all toxins in the world, so the snake venom couldn't enter his blood at all. At most, it would only leave 2 small red spots on his wrists caused by the poisonous fangs. Fang Zheng easily pinched the snake's head with his fingers, thinking that these kids played around without considering the consequences at all. Fortunately, they did not release the snake on purpose, otherwise it would not be as simple as just giving it a lesson. "Teacher, were you bitten by a cobra?" Fang Zheng glanced at his wound, raised his head and said, "Does anyone have a bottle? I'll put this snake away to prevent it from biting anyone again." Fang Zheng looked around, but unfortunately all the students in the classroom were already standing there in a daze, not a single one of them spoke. Fang Zheng saw a large plastic bottle filled with water on the table of a student in the front row, so he walked over, pulled the cobra that was still struggling and twisting with one hand, unscrewed the bottle cap with the other hand, and then stuffed the cobra back in with all his strength. After finishing, he let out a long breath. "Students, please be moderate when joking. Cobras are highly venomous. If you get bitten like me in the future, you must go to the nearest hospital as soon as possible to get an antibody injection. Remember." Fang Zheng put his hands behind his back, trying to appear more friendly. "Because the teacher has to go to the hospital now, I will not teach you this afternoon. You can continue to eat hot pot and play table tennis. But starting from tomorrow, you are not allowed to bring these things into the classroom. Otherwise, I will collect them one by one when I see them. Do you understand?" The classroom was silent. Fang Zheng nodded with satisfaction, thinking that he must have managed to intimidate this group of students by accident, right? He raised the hand that was still bleeding after being bitten by a cobra, as an invisible warning. Very good, then I'm leaving. See you tomorrow, classmates. As Fang Zheng walked out of the classroom slowly, the students in the classroom looked at each other, like the prelude to a storm, and after the silence it was like thunder. Fuck. Did you guys just see that? Who can't see this? This teacher is simply not a human being. He was bitten by a cobra and nothing happened to him. And he even dared to eat bugs, such disgusting things. Is this teacher going to be okay? This is too perverted. If this teacher comes again tomorrow, what should we do? Should we punish him again? After Fang Zheng left the classroom, he originally planned to go back to his office to sort out some information. He had not planned to attend formal classes this afternoon. After all, he had just started working, and in addition to teaching, he still had a lot of details about the school to understand. It was just that Fang Zheng forgot the fact that he was holding a cobra in his hand, and the result was that he had just walked into the office. A female teacher saw the bottle in Fang Zheng's hand, and the cobra opened its bloody mouth towards the female teacher through the bottle, scaring her so much that she almost stumbled and fell to the ground. Teacher Fang, what's in your bottle? Fang Zheng picked up the bottle and shook it, then replied, it's just a cobra. The students were just trying to scare me. Don't be afraid. Student. The female teacher looked pale and obviously wanted to stay away from Fang Zheng. She accidentally saw Fang Zheng's wrist and found 2 red spots on his skin, similar to those caused by a poisonous snake bite. She immediately covered her mouth. Teacher Fang, you were bitten by a cobra. Fang Zheng frowned and let out an R. Colleagues are actually very caring people at times, especially the female colleague. When she saw Fang Zheng being bitten, she immediately took out her cell phone and wanted to call the infirmary. Fortunately, Fang Zheng was quick to stop him and said that he was going to the hospital right away and there was no need to trouble the teacher in the infirmary. Although the main purpose of saying this was to prevent others from knowing the changes in his body, Fang Zheng actually did want to go to the hospital. The system gave him an insect body, saying that it could make him immune to toxins and diseases. Now he didn't feel his heart rate quicken or anything like that, but after all, the system was something illusory, so he still had to go to the hospital for a checkup before he could feel at ease. After leaving the school, he handed over the poisonous snake to the relevant department under a random excuse and went to the hospital. After a series of examinations, the doctor told Fang Zheng that he was in good health. Fang Zheng breathed a sigh of relief. The system is still very reliable. But before Fang Zheng left the hospital, his cell phone suddenly rang, and it rang several times in a row. The phone showed a WeChat message sent by the sister in the morning. Qingqiu kidnapped her elder sister. Do you have time? If you have time, call me now. Qingqiu kidnapping her elder sister. I told my family about my boyfriend. My mother wants to see you tomorrow. Do you have time to come out today to discuss countermeasures? Chapter 7 Shopping. Fang Zheng looked confused. I found the number I had just added this morning and called it. The call was answered quite quickly. Fang Zheng, hey, sister, are you kidding me? You told your family about us so quickly? Your mom, no, your aunt believed it and said she wanted to see me. Jiang Xiao's cold voice came out. The phone said that things are inconvenient. Do you have time to come out? Fang Zheng stood at the hospital entrance, thinking that since he was out here under the pretext of seeing a doctor, he wouldn't have to go back to school in the afternoon. I do have time. Jiang Xiao, where is the location? I'll come find you now. Fang Zheng looked back at the name of the hospital, Green Vine Second People's Hospital. It said that businessmen are quick at doing things, or it could be that Jiang Xiao was not far from Fang Zheng, so it took less than 15 minutes from the time he made the phone call to the time they met. As a red Porsche stopped in front of the hospital, passers-by on the road cast envious and surprised glances. The combination of beauty and luxury car could not help but attract people's attention. Jiang Xiao looked at Fang Zheng who was standing there and said calmly, get in the car. I'll take you somewhere first. In full view of everyone, Fang Zheng, wearing clothes worth only 100 yuan, got into the luxury car with the beautiful woman worth tens of millions. How did you end up like a gigolo? Damn system, although the physical enhancement given by the first reward is not bad, you still have to give me some money, otherwise how can I have the confidence to talk to this lady? Fang Zheng was sitting in the passenger seat. Jiang Xia waited until Fang Zheng fastened his seat belt and looked at his face, which was not too excited. Jiang Xiao asked curiously, why are you in the hospital? You got injured on your first day at work. Fang Zheng glanced at his right arm and replied, I was accidentally bitten by a snake, it's nothing serious. Jiang Xiao stepped on the accelerator, looking curious, can you get bit by a snake in school? That's amazing. This afternoon I might waste a lot of your time. You should ask for leave from school in advance. Fang Zheng. Fang Zheng, sister, do you always talk to people like this? Jiang Xiao drove a Porsche through the busy traffic. What's wrong? Is there something wrong with my speech? After taking a look at the woman's delicate profile, Fang Zheng shook his head, sighing that God was really unfair. She was beautiful, had a rich family, and a good figure, but they were all together. Why? Fang Zheng thought for a moment and said, it's not a big problem, but I feel like you always sound a little cold. Jiang Xiao's beautiful eyes moved. I was in a bad mood because of the staff meeting this morning. I'll pay attention to it. Sorry. Fang Zheng discovered that Jiang Xiao had one good point, he would not let his emotions at work involve his personal life. At least I am actively avoiding emotional outbursts, which is a rare ability in social interactions. Where are we going now? Fang Zheng asked. Let's go to the mall. I'll pick out some clothes for you to wear to my house tomorrow night. You don't look good in what you're wearing now. Founder. This sister CEO is so tactful in her speech. The two drove to a high-end shopping mall, and Jiang Xiao took Fang Zheng straight to the men's clothing store on the third floor. The woman used her extremely business-like vision to pick out a few men's suits and short-sleeved jackets for summer for Fang Zheng to try on. Fang Zheng felt that he actually looked pretty good, but it was obvious that men did not have a correct understanding of his appearance, especially after he put on those high-end suits and short-sleeved shirts. Jiang Xiao's eyes lit up, thinking that this man really had a good foundation and looked handsome in whatever he wore. There were 6 or 7 sets of clothes in total. Jiang Xiao felt that each one matched well and planned to buy them all for Fang Zheng. But during the clothes shopping process, perhaps because Fang Zheng's appearance really exceeded his own imagination, the female shop assistants seemed to be very enthusiastic towards him. Keep recommending new clothes and shoes to him. Of course, it is also possible that Jiang Xiao and Fang Zheng did not look like a couple at all. They did not talk about anything other than clothes from beginning to end, so other people did not think of them as a couple at all. Others thought they were siblings. Fang Zheng listened to the clerk and changed into a few sets of clothes. Jiang Xia thought they were pretty good, but she noticed that other people were looking at him like a crazy fan. I felt a little angry for no reason. After all, they were going to meet their parents tomorrow, and he was still her boyfriend in name. Jiang Xiao, great, buy these sets, but you are not allowed to wear them except when you go to my house tomorrow. She took out the black card from her bag and went to the counter. The waitresses at the counter realized something at once and looked embarrassed. Jiang Xiao said, pack up all the things my boyfriend has worn and pay with the credit card. Chapter 8 Boyfriend and Girlfriend. Why is it a high-end shopping mall? Ever since the clerk heard the word boyfriend from Jiang Xiao's mouth, he immediately realized that their excessive enthusiasm towards Fang Zheng just now might have annoyed this woman. So the clerk immediately tried to smooth things over by saying that the store had a discount for Jiang Xiao today, and that he could even help deliver the items to Jiang Xiao's car. Jiang Xiao accepted the gift, but she probably won't come to this store again. After leaving the store, Jiang Xiao took Fang Zheng to a beauty salon on the 4th floor that she often visited and asked the hairdresser to give Fang Zheng a good haircut. Clothes make the man, and saddles make the horse. In modern society, hairstyle and eyebrow trimming are also important. After the haircut, Fang Zheng's appearance was so good that even the male barber in the beauty salon said that this gentleman was really handsome and pleasing to the eye. She also hurriedly asked Jiang Xiao whether she and the handsome guy were boyfriend and girlfriend. The woman felt a little better, and when she left, she recharged her membership fee of 20,000 yuan at the beauty salon as a token of her appreciation. When Fang Zheng heard the sound of silver flowing, he really felt that they were in different worlds. Sister, you are really generous. Can you spend all the 20,000 yuan membership in a year? After swiping the card, Jiang Xia walked over to Fang Zheng. Her high heels under her black stockings made a heart-stirring sound. She replied, money is not a problem. The main thing is that the clerk in this store will read my expression. I am here to spend money, not to be bullied. Being bullied? Fang Zheng felt that this was a bit exaggerated. although Jiang Xiao's expression was a bit unhappy just now. But the shop assistants who sold the clothes didn't do anything bad except being a little enthusiastic towards me. This woman seems to be a bit sensitive. Jiang Xiao put away the bank card and looked up at Fang Zheng as if she remembered something. By the way, I'll consider those clothes as gifts for you, but you can't wear them outside privately except when you're with me. Fang Zheng shrugged. You have the final say on the clothes you buy. Now that I have my hair done and my clothes bought, what are we going to do next? Jiang Xiao took out her cell phone and checked the time. In fact, she had an important meeting to attend this afternoon. But in order to discuss meeting with Fang Zheng about tomorrow's parents' meeting, Jiang Xiao deliberately turned down that important meeting. Let's find a place to discuss our plan for tomorrow night. At least we need to know each other's past. Otherwise, if my mom asks for details tomorrow, our relationship will be exposed. Fang Zheng nodded. Okay, it's getting late anyway, why don't we just find a place to eat and talk while we eat? Jiang Xiao, okay, you pick the place, I'll pay. Fang Zheng smiled helplessly, wondering how come he really felt like a gigolo. Sis, you've been paying for the whole afternoon. This time, it's my turn to treat you. You pick the place. Jiang Xiao looked around and said, this mall is different from other places. The starting price for a meal is at least for a 5,000 yuan. Are you sure you can afford to treat me? For a 5,000. Fang Zheng said without hesitation, sure enough, let's change one. On their way here, I saw a hot pot restaurant. How about we have hot pot tonight? Hot pot. Jiang Xiao hesitated for a moment, but nodded after a moment. Okay, you drive, otherwise I have to change my shoes when driving. Jiang Xiao threw the keys of the Porsche to Fang Zheng. This was the first time Fang Zheng had ever driven a luxury car worth tens of millions. Don't mention it, he really can't drive. After the two returned to the parking lot, Jiang Xiao sat in the passenger seat and instructed Fang Zheng for a while. Only then did the man seem to be familiar with the situation. Seeing Fang Zheng was a little excited, Jiang Xiao suggested, from now on, you should drive when we go out together. It will be more convenient for me to sit in the passenger seat. The roar of the sports car engine really made Fang Zheng a little intoxicated. Okay sister, remember to pay my driver's salary at the end of the month. Jiang Xiao immediately took out a bank card from her bag. 500,000, is that enough? Fang Zheng smiled awkwardly and slowly pushed the bank card away. I'm just kidding. Please don't pay me all the time, or I'll always have the illusion that you're my boss. I'm your boyfriend now, and you can't buy a boyfriend with money, understand? Jiang Xiao was stunned for a moment while holding the bank card before putting it away. Although this was her first day meeting Fang Zheng, this boy was really different from the ones she had met before. To put it nicely, he was very outgoing. To put it bluntly, I have a somewhat carefree personality, but this kind of carefreeness happens not to make me angry, which is quite magical. Driving the Porsche out of the wealthy area, the two came to the street of a food court, and Fang Zheng parked the car on the side of the road. Jiang Xiao's every move in the high-end shopping mall just now was not too conspicuous, but when she really arrived at such an ordinary place, Fang Zheng realized how incompatible Jiang Xiao and the hot pot restaurant were. A beautiful CEO wearing high heels, a slim figure, black stockings and a white shirt walked into a noisy hot pot restaurant. It's like Jie Chan ran to a modern battlefield and charged with a machine gun, it's hard not to attract people's attention. The two found a corner to sit down, but Jiang Xiao's unique CEO temperament was too conspicuous, and the waiter who came to pour water was a little dumbfounded. He looked at Fang Zheng for a few times, and then at Jiang Xiao for a few more times. I wondered what kind of divine looks these guests had. Did Nuer really use her brain when she was shaping the figures? Two guests, clear soup, spicy soup, or bone soup, which one would you like? Fang Zheng glanced at Jiang Xiao, can you eat spicy food? Jiang Xiao shook her head and looked at the waiter, just give me a vegetable salad and a glass of boiled water. Fang Zheng blinked, then I'll also have a vegetable salad, some fruit and boiled water. The waiter held the menu, his pen in a daze. Won't you two order hot pot? Fang Zheng turned his head and glanced at the waiter and said with a smile, please serve the vegetable salad first. We will think about the hot pot later. Sorry for the trouble. The waiter hummed, okay, you two wait a moment. The waiter turned around and scratched his head, thinking that rich people are different. They come to the hot pot restaurant specifically to eat salad. What kind of thinking is that? After the waiter left, Jiang Xiao asked Fang Zheng, aren't you hungry? Why don't you order hot pot? Fang Zheng answered the question irrelevantly and said with a smile, you are in such a good shape, why are you still losing weight? How can other women survive? Jiang Xiao was stunned for a moment. This man was so smart. She breathed a sigh of relief and said with a smile, it's not just about losing weight. Hot pot is too greasy and bad for the skin. Also, thinner women are more popular with men, and it's easier to negotiate company projects. It's not good for the skin. Fang Zheng reacted and realized that the woman in front of him seemed to be already 28 years old. In 2 years, she would be 30 years old. She would pay more attention to her skin and figure than young girls. Jiang Xia said, what about you? You haven't answered my question just now. Fang Zheng leaned back and looked out the window, I'm not very hungry, and I'm not your boyfriend now. Hot pot eats so slowly, I can't let you wait for me all the time, I have to consider my girlfriend's mood. The corners of Jiang Xiao's mouth twitched, and no one knew what she was thinking. Fang Zheng turned around and stared at Jiang Xiao's delicate face, frowning, Mr. Jiang, although you have never been in a relationship, you are still very good at controlling men, right? Jiang Xiao was not shy about it and smiled, there are so many men in the business world. If I didn't understand a little bit about men's preferences, I wouldn't be able to make my company so big. But the more men I come into contact with, the more I find that men are simply unreliable. You are too superficial. Fang Zheng said sternly, that's because you haven't met a good person. Some men cannot represent the entire society. For example, I am very different. Jiang Xiao, what's the difference? You don't like beautiful women. Fang Zheng placed his arms flat on the table and stared at Jiang Xiao. For example, I am willing to eat vegetable salad with you now because I am your boyfriend. Before I broke up with you, I would never do this if any other woman sat opposite me. Fang Zheng said, does it feel like a boyfriend? Jiang Xia frowned, I don't know if you feel anything or not, but after an afternoon of contact, I understand a little bit. You are most likely a scumbag. Chapter 9 Gift. Fang Zheng. Women in the workplace are different from girls in school, especially the woman in front of me, whose level is extremely high. He straightened up and sighed, let's talk about something else. I'll see Auntie tomorrow. There's a good chance she'll ask me something. Jiang Xia thought for a moment and said, it should be about your family background. I have never brought a boy home, so I don't know much about it. Fang Zheng crossed his arms over his chest. He was no different from Jiang Xiao in this respect, and neither of them had brought any member of the opposite sex home. However, when a daughter-in-law and son-in-law meet their parents, they probably just ask about the family's conditions and the like. What else can they ask? Fang Zheng said, there are only my mother and I in my family. My father used to be a soldier but later died in an accident. The only asset in our family is a retirement home. You should be able to see the rest. Compared with Mr. Jiang, all my belongings are not as valuable as a hair on your body. Jiang Xia was a little curious, were you raised by your aunt alone? Fang Zheng nodded, although my father left a sum of money for the family, he died early, and my mother has been taking care of me all these years. There was a strange light in Jiang Xiao's eyes, so, we two are really compatible. My family only has me and my mother. The company under my control was originally owned by my father. Really? So you're a rich second generation. Fang Zheng blurted out, but he immediately smiled awkwardly after saying it, sorry, I don't mean anything else. Although you're not short of money, it must be hard for your aunt to raise you alone, right? Jiang Xia nodded and said, aren't we all the same? She continued. Anyway, my mom is usually pretty easy to talk to and she respects my wishes, so as long as she thinks that you and I are in a serious relationship, she shouldn't have any objections. You can just answer whatever she asks you, and there's no need to lie. Fang Zheng felt a little relieved. Fortunately, according to Jiang Xiao's description, this aunt should be different from those wealthy mothers-in-law on TV. She is quite amiable. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for him to play the role of boyfriend. After a while, the waiter came up with 2 plates of vegetable salad and a portion of fruit, and Fang Zheng chatted with Jiang Xiao for a few more words. Most of them are details about the two people's family. It was not until they finished eating the salad that Jiang Xiao brought up the sensitive issue. After all, you will be my boyfriend when you come to my house tomorrow. You can hold my hand then. It will seem more intimate. Fang Zheng picked up a piece of apple and put it in his mouth. Besides holding hands, can I hug you? Jiang Xiao stopped drinking water and said, what do you think? We are not really boyfriend and girlfriend. Fang Zheng nodded vigorously, I understand, I understand. Apart from holding hands, nothing else is allowed, right? After he finished speaking, Fang Zheng deliberately muttered in a low voice, Auntie is not blind. Of course Jiang Xiao heard this, and rolled her eyes at him and said, it depends on the situation. We don't necessarily have to hold hands. And tomorrow, don't call me Sister Jiang. Just call me Xiao from now on. Otherwise, I'm afraid you'll let it slip. Fang Zheng swallowed the apple in his mouth. He felt like he was at a disadvantage from the beginning to the end. He didn't use her at all, but she directly arranged for him to meet her parents, and there were all these rules. Okay, Sister Xiao, I'll do as you say. Jiang Xiao took a sip of water and said, go pay the bill. After I send you back, I have to go back to the company to take care of some things. Fang Zheng raised his eyebrows, aren't you off work already? Why are you still going to the company? Off duty is for employees, but not for bosses. I've already turned down a lot of things to see you this afternoon. Fang Zheng said casually, I'm so touched. Jiang Xiao wiped her mouth with a napkin, your tone is so fake, boyfriend. Fang Zheng shrugged indifferently, then went to the front desk to pay the bill. 2 salads and a piece of fruit cost less than 100 yuan in total. It's not expensive, but it's also not cheap at all. The two walked out of the store side by side. On the way, Fang Zheng glanced at Jiang Xiao's amazingly beautiful thighs and wondered why this woman had such a good figure. I say, Xiao, do you usually wear high heels when you go out? Jiang Xiao nodded. Fang Zheng asked, don't you feel tired? I felt tired at first, but I got used to wearing them every day. Besides, I only have high heels and slippers at home, so I don't have the chance to wear other shoes even if I buy them. So what shoes do you wear when driving? It's also a kind of high heel, but the heels of that pair are not so obvious, so it's more comfortable to drive. Fang Zheng was speechless. The man looked around and found a women's shoe store nearby, which looked like it might be pleasing to Jiang Xiao's taste. Let me go with you to buy you a pair of normal shoes. You can wear them when you meet me alone in the future. Wearing high heels all the time is not good for your feet. Jiang Xiao glanced at Fang Zheng in surprise, but the man turned away in the blink of an eye. She had no choice but to follow, although on the way she still said there was no need to buy other shoes, as their high heels were quite comfortable. But Fang Zheng's tone was firm, just think of it as a meeting gift from me to my girlfriend. Didn't you also give me clothes? The two came into the store, and the clerk came over quickly when he saw this divine couple. Fang Zheng originally planned to buy a pair of sneakers for Jiang Xiao, but it seemed that Jiang Xiao didn't like those shoes. The main reason was that her feminine temperament did not match these sneakers, so he had to ask the clerk if there were any shoes that matched Jiang Xiao, except high heels. The clerk was also in a dilemma and thought about it over and over again. How about boots? They are much more comfortable than high heels and won't rub your feet. Fang Zheng responded affirmatively, just boots, find a pair that fits her. The clerk looked at Jiang Xiao and said with a smile, your girlfriend is so pretty, I think any of them will suit her. I'll pick a better pair for you to try. Waiters in any shopping mall will sell products based on the clothes the customers are wearing. The clothes Fang Zheng is wearing now are the ones Jiang Xiao just bought for him in the mall. The set costs nearly 6,000 yuan. Jiang Xiao's clothes are even more expensive, especially the treasure in her hand, which is LV. The price is unknown, but you can tell at a glance that this woman is definitely a rich lady. So the clerk brought a pair of yellow brand name boots worth more than 3,000 yuan according to their needs. Jiang Xiao tried them on and found them really comfortable, and the style was also nice. Fang Zheng saw that Jiang Xiao was very happy, so he decided to spend some money and took out the money with trembling hands. Ding! WeChat paid 3,499 yuan, and your balance is 134.33 yuan. Fang Zheng glanced at the text message with a painful look and put away his phone. Jiang Xiao got into the car with the gift, thank you, I'll transfer the money to you. Fang Zheng waved his hand, no need, just wear something comfortable when you meet me next time. I'm not just talking about shoes. After all, I'm not a big boss, there's no need to take it so seriously. He pressed the engine button, home. The car was speeding and the scenery on both sides kept receding from us. On the way, Jiang Xiao looked at the gift bag at her feet. This was the first time a boy gave her something like this, not the kind of cigarettes, alcohol, tea, or artworks that business owners give to each other. It was just a pair of ordinary women's short boots, but this gift gave Jiang Xiao a very different feeling. This time, Fang Zheng didn't say a word on the way home. Because he wanted to cry but had no tears. Oh my god! 3,500 yuan. My own pair of shoes only costs 200 yuan, and I can't spend that much on shoes in 3 years. As expected, women only bring misfortune. Fortunately, they were fake lovers. If they were real, he would have to live off her for the rest of his life. I can't afford it. Chapter 10, Capture the Leader First. Arriving at the gate of Fang Zheng's residential complex, Jiang Xiao had already put on her driving short high heels on the passenger seat. Fang Zheng, I will call you tomorrow afternoon. If you have anything, please call me. After he got off the car, he saw the dumbfounded expression on the security guard's face. After all, an apartment in Fang Zheng's neighborhood only cost about 1 million yuan. But the Porsche that Jiang Xiao drives is conservatively worth tens of millions, and it is a rare thing for such a luxury car to appear here. Got it. See you tomorrow. Jiang Xiao nodded, and the car drove away in a hurry. The security guard came out in a thin white vest and looked in the direction of the luxury car. Xiao Fang, was that your boss sitting in the passenger seat just now? Why did he come to see you off? Fang Zheng exclaimed, No, it's not the boss, just a friend, don't think too much about it. The security guard was stunned for a long while. Friend? Girlfriend? Fang Zheng curled up the corners of his mouth and smiled perfunctorily, but said nothing. The security guard looked at Fang Zheng's back with envy. He was also a handsome guy when he was young. Why didn't he have such a blessing? After entering the community, it still took a few minutes to walk because Fang Zheng's home was located on the southeast corner of the community. Every time at this time, he would instinctively take out his mobile phone to check the messages or news push on his mobile phone. Maybe it was because the wind noise was too loud while driving just now, so I opened my phone and clicked on WeChat, and there was indeed a small red dot shining conspicuously on the screen. It's the principal. The principal of Tulip Middle School, Teacher Fang. I heard that you were bitten by a poisonous snake this afternoon. Are you okay? The students in class are too naughty. This happened on the first day. As the principal, I am really sorry. The principal of Tulip Middle School said, I can understand if you want to resign or change your position. After all, this is the situation of the school. We respect your wishes. If you have any ideas, please contact me in time. The two messages were not sent consecutively, and there was a gap of about 5 minutes in between. Apparently, after the principal sent the first message, he thought Fang Zheng was in a bad condition in the hospital, so he suggested changing his position if it really didn't work. I have to say that although the students in this school are naughty, the principal is still a good person. She really apologized if something happened. Fang Zheng replied as he walked, Thank you for your concern, President. Don't worry, the doctor said I went there in time and nothing is wrong. As for changing jobs or resigning, I haven't considered it yet. I still want to give it another try. As soon as the message was sent, there was a reply from the other end, as if the principal had been waiting in front of the phone for Fang Zheng's reply. After all, being bitten by a poisonous snake released by a student was considered an industrial injury, and it was not something to be taken lightly. The principal of Tulip Middle School said, I'm glad you're all right. I was really scared when you didn't come back to school all afternoon. But since you are so determined, it's hard for me not to support Teacher Fang's idea. How about this? I will send you a student profile later. It lists several particularly naughty students in grade 3, class 4. You can start with these students first. Fang Zheng, thank you, principal. With a ding, a student profile was sent over. Fang Zheng opened it immediately. There weren't many students' profiles on it, only about a dozen, but the descriptions were all very bad. He read the information on the document one by one, and his expression became more and more distorted. Yang Yibiao skipped classes and went to school. Li Yuquan was a brawler, often bullied classmates and teachers, and violated school discipline. Ding Peng, the culprit who forced away 13 class teachers, often took the lead in the class and behaved badly. There were many more people listed behind the student information, but Fang Zheng took a quick look at the rest and found that they were just minor problems. The main troublemakers in the class were these three students who looked like big brothers. But hasn't the school conducted a thorough investigation of the students? Why haven't they expelled these students? Forget it, let us not think about the reasons behind it. Anyway, I'll start to find out the background of these three people from tomorrow. The saying that to catch a thief, you must first catch the leader will never go out of style. Fang Zheng put away his phone. His stomach was rumbling with hunger. The teacher also needed to go home for dinner. But who would have thought that when Fang Zheng looked up, he found a familiar figure standing downstairs. The other person had short hair and was holding her waist. She was a middle-aged woman wearing simple clothes. The middle-aged woman looked angry and disdainful. Fang Zheng sensed a sense of crisis in the other person's eyes, and said in a trembling voice, "Mom, why are you here instead of going home?" The mother stared at Fang Zheng with murderous eyes. "I asked you to go on a blind date this morning, what did you do?" As the woman spoke, she walked towards Fang Zheng, like a tiger descending from the mountain. "Mom was afraid of disturbing you on your date with that girl. I didn't dare call you all day, but I'm still waiting for your good news at home, but just now the girl's parents called me and told me that you ran off with another girl on your blind date this morning. You left her daughter there." Fang Zheng frowned. "Mom, listen to my explanation, it was an accident." The mother didn't give Fang Zheng any chance to survive. "I don't care if it was an accident or not, I just want to know who the woman was who took you away this morning. If you already have a girlfriend, why didn't you tell me? Do you need me to work day and night to find a blind date for you?" Fang Zheng was stunned. The mother let out a long breath, her eyes widened, and she pointed at Fang Zheng and said, "You, idiot. Don't play dumb. You've been busy looking for a job since graduation. You haven't had any contact with other girls during this period. Tell me the truth. Is the girl who took you away this morning your girlfriend at school?" My mother's expression changed from anger to anticipation, but there was also a hint of nervousness in her brows. Fang Zheng smiled and nodded slowly like a robot. "Oh, yes, Mom, you're right. I do have a girlfriend from school, but I never told you about it. Jiang Xiao, I'm not trying to trick you. After all, we agreed before that whoever needs the other can use the other as a shield. Now is the time for you to come in handy." The mother looked pleased and said with a smile, "It seems that I guessed it right. I was saying that my son is so charming, handsome and tall, how could he have failed in 4 or 5 blind dates? It turns out that he already has a girlfriend. Come on, go upstairs and tell me in detail." The speed at which women change their faces is one of the 10 wonders of the world. Urged into their house by her mother, the woman couldn't wait to push Fang Zheng onto the sofa and start interrogating him, then poured him a glass of water. It was the first time that Fang Zheng had received such treatment at home. The woman leaned forward and sat on the sofa next to her, her face full of anticipation. "Tell me what the girl's name is, where is she from, how tall is she pretty? How did you two meet? How long have you been dating?" Fang Zheng blinked. "Mom, you have too many questions. Her name is Jiang Xiao. She is from the same province as us. I didn't ask where she lives. She is about 1.7 meters tall and pretty." My mother smacked her lips and said, "You kid. How come you don't even know where your girlfriend lives? Then, how long have you two been dating? Why did you keep it a secret from me?" Fang Zheng smiled. She planned to learn from Wei Xiaobao, talking nonsense about big things but being meticulous about details. "Mom, I'm telling you the truth. She's not my classmate and is a little older. I kept it a secret from you because I was afraid you wouldn't agree." Chapter 11. Can't the son compare to the daughter-in-law? A bit older. The mother's face became more worried. She guessed it. Logically, her son would never hide anything from her. What's more, it's such a good thing as dating. If he would hide it from me, there must be some unspeakable secret, and this secret is most likely not a good thing. The mother said worriedly, "She's a little older. Is she older than you or me? She can't be an aunt in her 60s. Son, I don't want to hinder your happiness, but you have to think about this matter carefully." "Mom, what are you talking about? How can she be older than you?" The mother couldn't help but ask, "How old is she? Give me an exact answer. You're taking so long." Fang Zheng blushed and said, 28, 4 years older than me." The woman's heart suddenly died down. She covered her chest and said with a smile, "What? Only 28 is not old, you said you were 24 this year, but you are actually 25 with your age. A woman who is 3 years older than her husband is just right. She leaned towards her son, her eyes shining. How long have you two been dating? Do you have any photos on your phone? Let me see. Fang Zheng lied with his eyes wide open. We've been dating for more than a year. I don't have any photos of her. She doesn't like taking pictures. The mother groaned. You don't take pictures often. With the internet so developed now, is there still a girl who doesn't like taking pictures? Son, since this matter has come to this, turn on the video. I want to chat with my daughter-in-law. Mom, please stop making trouble. I'm hungry. Let's eat, okay? The mother slapped Fang Zheng hard with her hand and said, Eat, eat, eat. What are you eating? I can't let go of my worries if I don't say a few words to my daughter-in-law today. Listen to me and make a video call. Why dare not make a video call with your own wife? Can you two avoid me when you get married in the future? Seeing his mother's determination, Fang Zheng took out his cell phone, thinking that Jiang Xia should have returned to the company by now, and he didn't know if she was busy. Call him. What are you thinking about while staring at your phone? The mother urged again. I know, don't rush me. Fang Zheng then dialed the number. The phone kept beeping and after a while the other end actually picked up the call. Jiang Xia's pleasant yet slightly cold voice came out immediately. Hello Fang Zheng, is there anything I can help you with? When the woman heard her daughter-in-law's voice, she felt that she had already imagined what she looked like. How could a person with such a nice voice be ugly? Ecstatic. Fang Zheng, nothing else, my mom wants to video chat with you, is it convenient for you now? Jiang Xia was stunned for a moment. Is auntie here right now? Fang Zheng hummed, she is not only here, but her eyes almost lit up when she heard that I have a girlfriend. The mother immediately glared at Fang Zheng. Jiang Xia smiled for some reason. Okay, let's transfer the video. I'm alone in the company anyway. Fang Zheng transferred the video call and the connection was connected very quickly. On the screen, Jiang Xia still looked the same as she did during the day, with a delicate oval face and extremely beautiful peach blossom eyes. The woman tilted her head curiously. Where's auntie? Fang Zheng said, she's right next to me. I'll give her my phone. You two, don't talk too much. Jiang Xia seemed to be smiling. I know my limits. The mother took the phone from Fang Zheng's hand. While Fang Zheng was talking, she even took the time to adjust her collar and hair, fearing that she would not leave a good impression in front of her daughter-in-law. As soon as the two women met through video, they both laughed immediately. The mother covered her mouth and said, Oh my daughter-in-law is so pretty. She looks like she came out of a painting. The tone of voice Jiang Xia used when speaking to her elders seemed quite different from when she spoke to herself. She seemed a lot gentler. Is this the innate skill of a working woman? Auntie, you're joking. You're the prettiest one. My name is Jiang Xiao. Hello. The mother nodded, her lips curved into a crescent shape. Hello, I'm Fang Zheng's mother. You said this child didn't tell me that she had a girlfriend. I've been urging her to find a partner these past few days. I'm really sorry. Are you in the company now? Why haven't you left work yet? Jiang Xiao, auntie, I'm in the company. There's a lot of work to do, so it'll be a while before I get off work. Auntie, have you eaten yet? Mother said with a smile, I haven't eaten yet. My family made braised pork ribs tonight. Come to auntie's place someday. Auntie's cooking skills are great. Fang Zheng sat on the side, listening to the two women chatting away, very enthusiastically, as if they were old friends who hadn't seen each other for decades. He couldn't get a word in at all. Mom, I'm a little hungry. I'll go to the kitchen and get the food out. Don't chat for too long. Mother, Xiao, how tall are you? You look so slim, you don't look like an aunt, you are old. Jiang Xiao, auntie, you are not old. You look very young. Fang Zheng has told me about you many times, saying that you have a good temper and are caring. I have always wanted to meet you, but I just never have the time. Fang Zheng. Fang Zheng, Mom, did you hear me? I'll go get the rice first, or it will get cold. The mother looked at Fang Zheng for a while and said gently, to indicate that she didn't hear clearly. Fang Zheng had to repeat that he was going to get the rice, and then the mother waved her hand. Eat by yourself, I want to chat with my Xiao for a while. Fang Zheng was speechless, as if she loved Jiang Xiao more than her own son. But Fang Zheng still neglected the communication ability between women. He went to the kitchen to bring the dishes to the table and waited for a while. He found that his mother was still talking about some messy things with Jiang Xiao. When I was so hungry, I had to pick up the rice and eat the vegetables bite by bite. It turned out that the two women not only had no intention of ending, but seemed to be getting more and more passionate. Xiao, let me tell you, Fang Zheng was very afraid of strangers when he was a kid. One time, his uncle came to our house, and Fang Zheng hid in his room and held back a lot of urine. He didn't dare to come out of the room. Finally, he found a bottle and hid it in the cupboard. Later, when we moved, I found that the urine in the bottle was black. This kid peed himself and forgot to throw it away. Jiang Xiao covered her mouth and laughed in the video. Fang Zheng was like this when he was a child. I thought he was very outgoing since he was young. The mother laughed and said, "What is he familiar with?" There is also this child who played with fire when he was young. Once. Fang Zheng's face turned green. Mom. Mom. Let's stop here. Xiao, my mom hasn't eaten yet. Don't talk to her. Can you two talk about it next time you have a chance? Chapter 12 Overtime. Although Jiang Xiao couldn't see Fang Zheng's expression at the moment, she could imagine how the person felt when his or her embarrassing childhood stories were told to outsiders by his or her elders. Jiang Xiao, Auntie, you haven't eaten yet. Then you should eat first and we can talk later. The mother nodded. Okay, Xiao Yao, when you finish your work at the company, come home soon. It's not safe for a girl to be outside at night. How about I ask Fang Zheng to pick you up? Fang Zheng looked up suddenly when he heard this. Jiang Xiao smiled and said, No need, Auntie. He has been busy all day today. Let him rest at home for a while. Goodbye, Auntie. Goodbye, Xiao. I'll ask Fang Zheng to bring you home for dinner when he's free. Good. The mother and daughter waved goodbye to the screen, and Fang Zheng finally escaped from danger. But the lingering care and concern of an old mother always catches people off guard. The call ended. A bunch of questions came to my mind again. How did the two of them know each other and what is the situation at Xiao's family? There are several people in your family. You must be nicer to girls in the future. Fang Zheng answered questions when they were asked and agreed readily when they were instructed. Fortunately, he asked Jiang Xiao a lot of family details this afternoon, and although there were many questions, nothing was revealed. My mother hummed a little tune, picked up the chopsticks happily, and put the food into her mouth one bite at a time. You know what, this Xiao Yao is quite good at chatting, I really like her. If you had told me earlier that you had a girlfriend like this, there would be no need for mom to be busy all day long for your girlfriend's affairs. What a heartless, ungrateful person. Fang Zheng. Mom, the food is cold. How about I heat it up for you? The mother waved her hands and said cheerfully, No, now that we have a daughter-in-law, the food will be hot no matter how you eat it. It will be delicious. I just made an agreement with Xiao, bring her home the day after tomorrow, and we can have a meal together as a family. Fang Zheng was just about to say that he was full and going back to his room, but when he heard this, his eyes widened. Come to my house for dinner the day after tomorrow? When did you tell her that? How come I didn't know? The mother raised her head and said as a matter of course, Just now when I was on the phone, you didn't hear a word I talked to Xiao Yao about for a long time. I told you that if you get married in the future, you must not suffer from this hearing loss problem. Fang Zheng sighed and shook his head helplessly. He forgot about his son after he had a daughter-in-law. He held his own plate and bowl and said, I'm done eating and will go back to my room to rest. You can eat slowly here. When the mother saw Fang Zheng leaving, she suddenly remembered, Oh, son, how was your work today? Fortunately, although there was a small accident, but... Fang Zheng was halfway through his words when he turned around and found that his mother was not listening to him at all. The woman had already taken the meal to the bedroom. He murmured to himself. Old man, let me tell you, our son has found a partner and will probably get married in the next 2 years. You have to bless Fang Zheng and Xiao Yao from below, so that they can live in harmony after marriage and not quarrel. Fang Zheng pursed his lips. Every time something good or bad happened at home, his mother would say a few words to his father who had died many years ago. After a while, he had gotten used to it. Back to the room, since I am now a Chinese teacher, managing students is one aspect of a teacher's responsibility, but my main task is to impart knowledge to the future flowers of the motherland and teach students in class. So Fang Zheng prepared some teaching materials at home, intending to make up for the time he had just entered school. I don't know how long I spent holding the book, when my phone suddenly dinged and a message popped up. I picked up the phone and saw that it was a message from Jiang Xiao. Qingqiu Jiang Dame, send me your work address, I may come to see you tomorrow at noon. Fang Zheng quickly replied, what do you want to see me for? Qingqiu Miss Jiang, let's eat. By the way, let me tell you about my visit to your house the day after tomorrow. Do you think this is revenge against me? I just said my mother wanted to see you, and my aunt knew about it right away. Fang Zheng was ashamed, it's really not my fault. My mother is almost going crazy wanting to have a grandchild. It happens every day. When she heard that I went out with a beautiful woman during the blind date, she must have tortured me to extract a confession, and I gave you away. Qingqiu Jiang Dame, I can imagine that. My mom is the same. She urges me to find a partner all day long. Otherwise, I wouldn't have found you. Fang Zheng smiled. It was true that all mothers in the world were the same. Fang Zheng, are you home? Qingqiu Jiang Dame, no, I just finished my work at the company and was planning to pack up and go home. The man glanced at the time. He hadn't realized how engrossed he was in reading that it was already 11:30. Fang Zheng, you get off work so late. Are you like this every day? Qingqiu Jiang Dame, something happened in the company recently, and I'm a bit busy. There is a project that I can't get done. Fang Zheng, I don't understand the company's affairs and can't help you, but are you afraid to go home alone so late? Qingqiu Miss Jiang, do you really think I'm a little girl? But if you want to come pick me up, that's fine. Under the night sky, in an office in a certain building, Jiang Xiao sat in the boss chair. After sending this sentence, he thought it was not a good idea and immediately withdrew it and sent another sentence. I'm just kidding. I'll just finish up and go home. You can go to sleep. Seeing Fang Zheng replied, okay. Jiang Xiao's eyes suddenly showed a hint of loneliness. She turned off her phone, sat down on the chair tiredly and let out a long breath. Fang Zheng's mother just chatted with her, and she didn't know if this was because it was Jiang Xiao's first time meeting a boy's parent. She began to realize that the mothers-in-law in real life were actually very kind and amiable, completely different from the troublemaking mothers-in-law depicted in TV dramas or often mentioned by people. In the video call just now, Jiang Xiao deliberately concealed her identity as the president while talking. I just wanted to see the other person's true reaction, but the aunt had a smile on her face from beginning to end and it seemed that she really liked me. Jiang Xiao turned her head to look at the neon city outside the window. She felt uncomfortable when she thought about what would happen if her fake relationship with Fang Zheng was exposed, or her aunt's disappointed expression after they broke up peacefully. But let us talk about the future later. Jiang Xiao stood up and rubbed her slender waist. Her body began to feel exhausted after sitting in front of the computer for a long time. Even doing yoga exercises a few times a week to stretch your muscles and joints won't help. After finishing the project at hand, Jiang Xiao really plans to take a good rest for a while and put the company's affairs behind her for the time being. After sorting out the documents, I went to the large office to check if any employees' computers were turned off. After making sure there were no problems, I turned off the lights and locked the door. The distinctive tapping sound of high heels walking in the corridor is particularly eye-catching in the empty building. It was a little cold in the early morning of April, but she had so many things to do today that she forgot to bring even a coat. She could only look forward to going home to take a hot bath and relax. But when Jiang Xia walked out of the company building, she saw a familiar figure leaning against the stone pillar at the door waiting for her. The man was holding a coat in his hand and was staring at the street in a daze. Jiang Xiao's whole body trembled suddenly. Fang Zheng? Why are you here? Fang Zheng was looking at the scenery. When he heard the woman's voice, he turned around and said with a smile, "Are you out? I'm here to pick you up from get off work, girlfriend." Chapter 13 Personal Introduction. The coat is draped over the woman. Fang Zheng, I didn't expect your company to be so close to my home. Why didn't you tell me when you sent me back to the community just now? Jiang Xiao originally wanted to ask Fang Zheng how he knew where her company was, but then she thought for a moment and remembered that she could just search her name on Baidu and find out all the company information and address, so she didn't even have to ask. Fang Zheng, let's go, I'll take you home. Jiang Xiao spoke very little along the way. Perhaps she was a little tired after being busy at the company all night. Only when they arrived at her door did the woman slowly utter a few words. "Thank you for sending me." Small things. Fang Zheng discovered that the house where Jiang Xiao lived was not a villa, but a high-end apartment. It's quite far from his neighborhood, so he'll have to take a taxi back later. Seeing Fang Zheng getting off the car, Jiang Xiao stared at him with her beautiful and delicate eyes. "I actually have a question for a long time. You are so popular with women, why did you come out for a blind date this morning? Do you think you don't have enough girlfriends?" Fang Zheng was helpless. "Who do you think I am? I told you that I am so nice to you because you are my girlfriend." Jiang Xiao asked doubtfully, "But we are not really boyfriend and girlfriend." Fang Zheng shrugged. "So what? You won't understand a man's mind even if I tell you." He saw the cheap coat Jiang Xiao was wearing behind her. "Give me back my coat. Next time, remember to keep one in the car. It's more useful than waiting for help." Jiang Xia subconsciously reached out to take off her coat, but as her fingers tightly grasped the clothes, her heart was suddenly touched. She paused there, retracted her fingers after a moment, and smiled. "I haven't had time to buy clothes recently, so let me borrow this coat for a few days. I'll return it to you when the weather gets hot. See you tomorrow." The woman finished her words in one breath and drove to her own garage, leaving the man with only the sound of the engine humming. Fang Zheng stood there with a confused look on his face, frowning. "I said to myself, but this coat of mine is new, I haven't worn it yet, sis." No one paid any attention to him. I took a taxi home alone. I don't know if it was because too many things happened today, but Fang Zheng couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep much the whole night and felt groggy when I woke up in the morning. Since Tulip Middle School is not far from Fang Zheng's residential area, he does not have to take a taxi to work every day. Riding a small electric car can perfectly solve the problem of commuting to get off work. Go to school. Yawning while walking. As soon as he entered the office, the head teacher with a Mediterranean hairstyle and two colleagues in the office all looked at Fang Zheng strangely. It seemed as if he was surprised by Fang Zheng's appearance. "Teacher Fang, aren't you in the hospital?" "Yes, Teacher Fang, why did you come to school today?" Fang Zheng exclaimed, "Hospitalization? Why should I be hospitalized when I am fine?" The Dean of Studies stood up and said, "We heard yesterday that you were bitten by a snake, so we sent a few teachers to the hospital to look for you. The doctor said that all the patients bitten by snakes were transferred to other hospitals. We thought you." Fang Zheng rubbed his forehead. He would have almost forgotten about the snake bite if it hadn't been mentioned. Fang Zheng sat down at his desk amid everyone's shocked gazes. "I'm fine. The doctor said I went in time, and the hospital had just the last bottle of antitoxin serum yesterday. They let me out of the hospital right after the injection. I was lucky." A female teacher breathed a sigh of relief and sat on a chair. "So that's how it is. We were scared to death. I think the students in class are too much. How dare they take out a thing like a cobra? It's a good thing that we got there in time, otherwise someone would have died." The Dean of Studies agreed, "Yes, this is not going to work. Teacher Fang, based on personal advice, I think you should talk to the principal and change your position instead of staying here any longer." Fang Zheng raised his hand and said, "Hey, director, that's not the case. I think I've only just gotten the hang of it. Let me try for a few more days. Maybe I can control this group of students." Fang Zheng looked at the schedule and said, The first class today is mine? Then I'll go to class and you guys can chat." After leaving the office with the textbooks, the dean and the remaining two teachers glanced at Fang Zheng, and then looked at each other. "Teacher Fang is a bit stubborn, will this cause any trouble?" The female teacher shrank her neck and said, "I don't know. Anyway, if I were to be tormented like this by my students, I would have quit long ago." The dean's face darkened, as if he was scolding her. "As a teacher, your ideological awareness needs to be improved. You need to learn this from Teacher Fang." The female teacher rolled her eyes at the dean and murmured in her heart, "If you were bitten by a snake, you would probably write your resignation report faster than I did." After leaving the office, Fang Zheng took his book and went to the bathroom to wash his face because he had been yawning the whole way. He didn't know why he suddenly couldn't fall asleep after sending Jiang Xiao off last night. Evil woman. Arriving at the classroom of Grade 3 Class 4, Fang Zheng discovered through the glass window that the atmosphere in the classroom had become extremely strange. It was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Every student in the classroom sat upright at his or her desk. No one was eating hot pot or playing games like they did yesterday. The whole place was peaceful and quiet. Fang Zheng smiled with relief. This is the atmosphere of a classroom. He opened the door and walked into the classroom. All the students suddenly stood up and said in unison, "Good morning, Teacher Fang. You have worked hard." Fang Zheng was startled and nodded. Hello, please sit down. What happened to these guys? Did I manage to subdue them yesterday? Is it that simple? He walked to the podium and looked carefully at the tables and chairs, fearing that there might be glue or something like that. After checking, there was nothing. Safe and sound. A female classmate asked with concern. Teacher, you went to the hospital for a checkup yesterday. Are you okay? Fang Zheng smiled and replied, the teacher is fine, he left just in time, but I hope everyone can learn a lesson from this. Even if there are certain insurance measures, you must not touch dangerous things. Okay. Without further ado, take out your Chinese textbook. Before he finished speaking, a female classmate with wavy hair and wearing a school uniform raised her hand in the classroom. Teacher, don't you need to get to know us first on your first day of class? This will also make it easier for you to ask us questions during class. Fang Zheng looked at the girl who raised her hand. Fang Zheng, this student is right, but the classroom is a place for studying, please put on your school uniform. Fang Zheng made a downward pressing gesture with his hands. It's up to you, put your hands down. Since everyone wants to introduce themselves to the teacher, let's introduce ourselves in this class. He looked at the girl student who had just spoken to him. Let's start with this girl. Stand up. Chapter 14, Yang Qingya's Plan. The female classmate with big wavy hair stood up gracefully and looked at Fang Zheng with a pair of spring-like eyes. Teacher, my name is Yang Qingya, I'm single, and I especially like young, handsome, and mature men like you. We can add WeChat and chat privately. The speaker had intention, but the listener didn't. Fang Zheng looked down at the seat name list posted on the desks, trying to remember the names of these students in his mind as much as possible. Fang Zheng raised his hand. Okay, sit down after you're done. Also, our school doesn't allow premature love. Next one. Yang Qingya. A girl next to her stood up. This time, she was dressed more conservatively, had a short ponytail, had a very delicate face, and was not very tall. He was even more hesitant when speaking. Hello, teacher. My name is Zhuge Hong. Although my name sounds a bit old-fashioned, I am actually not old-fashioned at all. I am very open-minded and do things in a modern way. Fang Zheng raised his hand. Student Zhuge Hong, right? Okay, teacher will remember this. Next. Several classmates introduced themselves one after another, but Fang Zheng could no longer remember clearly. It wasn't until Fang Zheng saw a familiar name that he perked up. Ding Peng. According to the information the principal gave him last night, this Ding Peng was the culprit who led the entire class to force out the 13th head teacher, and he was also the leader of class 4, grade 3. He had to pay special attention to this person. The boy named Ding Peng was very tall. Although he was only a junior high school student, he seemed even taller than Fang Zheng, at least 1.85 meters tall. He had a star-shaped earring on his right ear and a flat head. My name is Ding Peng. I don't have any hobbies. I just like to join in the fun, that's all. Fang Zheng said, Ding Peng, right? I've got it. Please sit down. Ding Peng raised the corner of his mouth, as if he was smiling. Teacher, I'm sorry about the cobra incident yesterday. We didn't know it would really bite people. We were just joking with you. Don't be angry. Fang Zheng frowned. Did you put the snake on the desk? Ding Peng shook his head. It wasn't me, it was Yarn Yibiao who released it. I just helped him raise it for a few days. Yarn Yibiao, Fang Zheng also remembered this guy. In the principal's profile, he was marked as someone who often skipped classes. Fang Zheng looked at everyone in the class and said, Where is Yarn Yibiao? Stand up and let the teacher know him. The teacher will not pursue what happened yesterday. Ding Peng put his hands in his pockets and said, Teacher, Yarn Yibiao asked for leave today. Fang Zheng was puzzled. He asked for leave? How come I, the class teacher, don't know about it? Yarn Yibiao's family is very poor. He is a poor student and his parents are in poor health. So he has to work 3 or 4 jobs every day and often asks for leave. We didn't ask you for permission. Poor students? Very difficult. Fang Zheng remembered that Tulip Middle School was a private high-end school, wasn't it? The tuition fee was tens of thousands of yuan a year, and there were still poor students. This group of students really think they are stupid. Fang Zheng smiled and said, "Oh, is that so? Then we all need special care for students like this. I'll talk to Yarn Ibiao in person when he comes back someday. Okay, we've introduced everything, right? Let's go to class." Before he finished speaking, the sexy female classmate Yang Qingye raised her hand again. Teacher, teacher. We have all introduced ourselves, why don't you introduce yourself? We are all very curious about you. Fang Zheng stood up and said, "Didn't I introduce everything yesterday? How come none of the students remembered it?" Yang Qingye pursed her red lips and said, "You only told us your name yesterday. How could you introduce us? You have to tell us what your hobbies are and what you like to eat, so that we can get to know each other better." "Yes, teacher, please introduce it again." "Yes, teacher." Seeing the students' enthusiasm, Fang Zheng nodded and said, "Okay, let me introduce myself again. My name is Fang Zheng, and I will be the head teacher of your class for the next year. My hobbies are reading and studying, and occasionally playing games. As for food, I like light food." Someone was talking nonsense in a serious tone at the top of the class, while Yang Qingye, Ding Peng and others were looking at Fang Zheng in confusion at the bottom of the class. Ding Peng took out his cell phone from under the desk, found Yang Qingye's Penguin account and sent a message. "Ding Peng, what do you think of this teacher? He looks like a fool to me and I don't see how great he is. Yang Qingye, I don't see how powerful he is, but he was bitten by a snake yesterday and he was not afraid of eating insects. Could he be the type who hides his true strength?" Ding Peng, hidden away? Really? What about the plan for lunch? Yang Qingye, don't worry, I'm wearing a thin shirt today. I'm the best at controlling men. Li Yuquan, you guys are still in class. I finished everything here, is the plan going well? Yang Qingye, okay, everything went smoothly. Ding Peng, okay, everything went smoothly. After a busy entire class, Fang Zheng didn't get to teach anything serious before the bell rang. He went back to the office and sorted out materials for another afternoon. His eyelids had been twitching all morning, and when school was about to end at noon, he received a WeChat message from Jiang Xiao. "Qingqiu Jiang Dame, when do you get off work? I'll pick you up." "Fang Zheng, school ends at 11:30. Come now. The location is Tulip Middle School." "Qingqiu Jiang Dame, got it, wait for me for 20 minutes, I'll be there soon." Fang Zheng yawned. The female teacher in the same office heard the bell ringing and called Fang Zheng to go for lunch, but Fang Zheng waved his hand to decline. But he didn't notice that after leaving the office, Ding Peng hid in the corner and sent a message to Yang Qingye on his mobile phone. "Ding Peng, the teacher didn't go to the cafeteria, he went to the school gate." "Yang Qingye, I understand. Watch me this afternoon." Fang Zheng walked out of the school gate, thinking that it would still be some time before Jiang Xiao came to see him, so he could take a nap at the security guard's place and catch up on his sleep. As a result, when Fang Zheng walked out of the school gate, he saw a familiar figure squatting on the edge of a bush not far from the school gate, wiping his tears and crying. It was a girl with long wavy hair, wearing a loose school uniform and a miniskirt. Fang Zheng recognized her immediately as Yang Qingye from his class. He walked over puzzledly. "Student Yang Qingye, why are you crying here, what happened?" When Yang Qingye heard Fang Zheng's voice, she turned back with a look of grievance and wiped her eyes. "Teacher, I have nowhere to go. No one wants me anymore." "Nowhere to go? What do you mean? Tell the teacher if you have any problem and I will help you solve it." Yang Qingye stood up slowly, her eyes red from crying, looking aggrieved. "Teacher, my parents are arguing again. They just called and told me not to go home. I feel so wronged. Now I just want to find a place to have a good rest and find someone to accompany me." Fang Zheng said casually, "I will take you back to the classroom first. There are so many male classmates in the class. They will all take care of you and accompany you." Yang Qingye shook her head, "The classroom is too noisy, I don't like it." "Teacher, do you live alone? Can I go home with you?" Fang Zheng frowned, "You're coming home with me." Chapter 15, The difference is obvious. "Yes, teacher. If it's not convenient for you at home, you can take me to a room. I just want to find someone to chat with. Is that not okay? Fang Zheng, this is not good. As she spoke, Yang Qingya started crying again. His voice trembled as he said, Teacher, please, otherwise I really don't know what to do. Fang Zheng was confused. What did this girl want to do? Was she deliberately trying to trick him, or did she really want to find a place to rest for a while? By the way, the beautiful Jiang will be here soon, that's great. Fang Zheng nodded, okay, you can go with the teacher at noon today. I will take you to eat first. Yang Qingya nodded and felt happy. Thank you, teacher. Fang Zheng and Yang Qingya were standing at the intersection. The girl stuck the pinhole camera in her pocket on the pocket of her school uniform. It would be convenient to take some photos of Fang Zheng getting excited in the hotel later and post them on the school bulletin board tomorrow. This way, he will be embarrassed and have to resign voluntarily. Yang Qingya cleared her throat and said timidly, Teacher, I want to go to my room to take a shower later, is that okay? I feel very uncomfortable and want someone to rub my legs for me. Fang Zheng turned his head and glanced at the other person. Shower. You can, but I have to bring you back before class this afternoon. Yang Qingya's mouth twitched. The first class in the afternoon is physical education. Teacher Tilder, we can come back later. In Yang Qingya's heart, this male teacher is nothing special. She has used this trick to confuse many boys, and there have been few failure cases so far. Especially since I cried and felt wronged, Teacher Fang took the bait and the plan went smoothly. But who could have thought that Yang Qingya still underestimated the possibility of the word accident? Fang Zheng had been standing at the intersection for 10 minutes, but Yang Qingya didn't see him taking a taxi. She didn't know what he was waiting for. Teacher, why don't you call a taxi? Fang Zheng hummed, it's coming soon, don't worry, it's coming. The man waved towards a red Porsche in the distance. Jiang Xiao, who was wearing a white shirt, immediately stopped the car when she saw Fang Zheng waving. Because it was already less than 20 minutes before school was over, there were not many people at the school gate. Although the red Porsche was eye-catching, if it stopped at this moment it would only shock a few people, such as Yang Qingya who was standing next to Fang Zheng. She was already stunned and her brain froze. Jiang Xiao looked at Fang Zheng with a cold look in her eyes. I came a little late because of something at the company. Who is the girl next to you? Yang Qingya is 15 years old and her physique is considered to be the best fighting type among junior high school students, but she is only good at fighting compared with her peers or even ordinary people. Compared with an ultimate CEO like Jiang Xiao, there is a world of difference. No matter her figure or appearance, she is totally a little sister. Fang Zheng explained, this is a classmate of mine. Her parents had a fight, so she wanted to find a place to rest at noon. I planned to book a room for her so she could take a nap. Jiang Xiao felt something was wrong, get a room and take a nap. As the two of them talked, Yang Qingya's heartbeat had already accelerated to an unknown degree. The eyes can hardly move anywhere else on the luxury car. What's going on? This red Porsche must be worth more than 10 million yuan, right? How come this woman knows my teacher? Didn't this teacher come to work this morning on a small electric bike? Isn't he an ordinary office worker? The message is wrong. Yang Qingya, teacher, who is this rich sister? Jiang Xiao looked at Yang Qingya and her eyes accidentally caught a small decoration pinned on her school uniform. She had seen that thing before. Pinhole camera? Yang Qingya noticed the sharp gaze of her elder sister and was so scared that she quickly covered the small decoration on her school uniform with her hands, looking embarrassed. Jiang Xiao's mouth twitched, but she didn't point it out. I'm your teacher Fang's girlfriend, you can just call me Sister Xiao. Yang Qingya slowly opened her mouth, speaking unclearly, girlfriend. You are the teacher's girlfriend. No way. Jiang Xiao smiled and said, what's wrong? Am I not worthy of your teacher Fang? Yang Qingya quickly shook her head, no, that's not what I meant. Fang Zheng smiled and said, okay, Yang Qingya, get in the car. I'll take you to dinner first, and then I'll get you a room. You can rest in there for a while. Yang Qingya looked at Jiang Xiao's cold temperament, then at the Porsche sports car she was driving, and then at Fang Zheng, whose clothes were obviously cheap. Am I dreaming? Who is this teacher? Yang Qingya was so scared that she took 2 steps back. Teacher, no need, I won't disturb you and Sister Xiao from having dinner, I'll go back to the classroom. Fang Zheng was puzzled. Why, don't you dislike the noisy classroom? Don't worry, I will bring you back when the time comes, it won't delay the class. Yang Qingye raised her hand and shook it vigorously, smiling awkwardly. Teacher, there's really no need. I think the classroom is pretty good, and there are a lot of classmates. I'll just stay in the classroom for a while. As soon as she finished speaking, Yang Qingye turned around and ran away quickly towards the school. Goodbye, teacher. Goodbye, Sister Xiao. Jiang Xiao couldn't help but pursed her lips. Fang Zheng had the same expression, but there might have been a hint of doubt in his look. Jiang Xiao hummed, and then took a long breath and said, "Since your student doesn't want to go with us, then you can get in the car and go eat." "Okay, let's go." Fang Zheng originally wanted to go to the passenger seat, but Jiang Xiao got out of the car early and he went to the passenger seat first. "You drive. We agreed on this before, boyfriend." Fang Zheng nodded helplessly. The pleasant hum of the Porsche engine and the red line quickly left the entrance of Tulip Middle School. Yang Qingye then walked out of the teaching building with some fear. She had been hiding behind a pillar to watch the situation at the school gate. After Fang Zheng left, the girl immediately took out her cell phone and found Ding Peng's Penguin account. "Yang Qingye, the news is wrong, the news is wrong. This teacher is not simple." "Ding Peng? What do you mean, you failed? This teacher has such strong resistance." "Yang Qingye, no, this teacher is different from what you said. He is not an ordinary person. Have you ever seen an ordinary person driving a Porsche?" "Ding Peng, our Porsche. Is it true?" "Yang Qingye, yes. Porsche, I saw it with my own eyes. And teacher Fang has a girlfriend. I think his girlfriend's temperament is like a CEO. This teacher is definitely not simple. Ask Yang Yibia to reinvestigate." Driving to a nearby shopping mall, Jiang Xia was sending messages to someone on her cell phone in the car, looking extremely busy. It was the same until the two got off the car and found a place to eat. Fang Zheng also has to guide her. Sitting in the barbecue restaurant, Jiang Xia looked at her phone with a sad and confused expression. Her slender fingers were typing on the phone, and she was very disappointed with her employees. Fang Zheng didn't bother her. "Waiter, bring me a glass of orange juice first." Fang Zheng looked at Jiang Xia. "What would you like to drink?" Jiang Xia replied in a busy tone, "It's all right." Fang Zheng thought about it and looked up. "1 glass of orange juice and 1 glass of hot milk, thank you." "Waiter, yes, sir, right away." After a while, the guy from the store came over with milk and orange juice. Fang Zheng was just planning to drink a glass of orange juice to quench his thirst first. Before he could even reach out his hand, Jiang Xiao had already picked up the glass of orange juice, sucked the juice into his mouth, and moved his hands beautifully. Fang Zheng was stunned. Jiang Xia said carelessly, "I didn't expect you to be so good at keeping healthy. Drink hot milk at noon." "Fang Zheng, do you believe me when I say I ordered the milk for you?" Jiang Xia was also stunned, and looked up at Fang Zheng. "Do you like orange juice too?" "I was just about to ask you how you knew I like orange juice." Fang Zheng laughed. "What a coincidence, you drink it, I drink milk, I stay healthy." Chapter 16, Conversation with the Principal. Jiang Xia put down her phone with her eyebrows curved. "When I went to pick you up from school just now, I suddenly thought of a question. Do you act like this in front of students?" Fang Zheng took a sip of hot milk and almost scalded himself to death. "What else?" he replied. Jiang Xia shook her head. "I have never seen a teacher like you. In my impression, teachers are very traditional and boring. Personally, I think you are more suitable to be a sales manager." Fang Zheng chuckled. "You flatter me too much, sales manager? Even if I work in sales, I can only be a small employee at most. It's not that great a blessing." The woman's expression suddenly became serious. "You can come to work in my company. I'll let you be a manager. As long as you can complete the basic performance in a month, your salary will be guaranteed to be 20,000. "Really? Do you think I'm qualified for a high-level position like a manager?" Jiang Xia raised the corner of her mouth. "You are my boyfriend now, there is no such thing as can or cannot. If I say yes, then yes. I am the boss." "Fang Zheng, but we are fake boyfriend and girlfriend." Jiang Xia curled her lips and shrugged. "So what? You won't understand a woman's mind even if I tell you." Fang Zheng was embarrassed. Why did this scene and this dialogue sound so familiar? It's time to give someone a taste of their own medicine, right? Jiang Xiao took another sip of orange juice. Seeing that Fang Zheng had no intention of becoming a manager, she let out a long sigh. If you don't want to be one, forget it. But be careful with that girl at the school gate just now. Fang Zheng let out a warning cry, but Jiang Xiao said nothing more. She changed the subject. After dinner, accompany me to buy something. I don't know what auntie likes. I have to bring some gifts when I go to your house tomorrow night. Fang Zheng was stunned for a moment, then he remembered that he also had to go to Jiang Xiao's house tonight. He hadn't prepared a gift yet and had forgotten about it in his busy schedule. Jiang Xiao seemed to have guessed Fang Zheng's thoughts and said in advance, "By the way, buy the gift you brought to my house tonight. I'll pay for it." Fang Zheng smiled gratefully. "Thank you, I'm a little short of money recently, I'll pay you back when I get my salary next month." "Okay, let's order some food. I have something else to do in the afternoon and can't stay too long." Fang Zheng hummed, "What would you like to eat today?" "Beef is fine." Jiang Xiao took out her cell phone and lowered her head to busy herself with work matters in the employee group chat. But slowly, Jiang Xiao would slightly raise her head to look at Fang Zheng holding the menu and ordering food. "Will you pay me back next month?" That means they will still be boyfriend and girlfriend for at least this month. Having such a fake boyfriend is actually quite nice. After eating, the two went to the mall to buy some skin care products needed by the elders. On the way, Jiang Xia wanted to talk about what she should pay attention to when going to Fang Zheng's house tomorrow night, but Fang Zheng said, "You have already called my mother on video, so just chat normally then," and Jiang Xia kept silent. That's right, Fang Zheng's mother seems to be a very easygoing person, so there is no need for him to be too nervous. After driving Fang Zheng back to school, the two waved goodbye. The first class for grade 3, class 4 in the afternoon is physical education, and the third class is Chinese, so Fang Zheng has plenty of time to organize the afternoon teaching materials. Today is the second day, and the system has given me a time limit of 3 days to officially start teaching class 4. He had to hurry up, but would these naughty students really listen to his lectures? This was a difficult problem. The bell for the first class rang, and Fang Zheng stretched hard in his chair. Coincidentally, the female teacher in the office also came back from get out of class. As soon as she entered the room, she reminded Fang Zheng. "Teacher Fang, the principal said he wants to see you for something and wants you to come over." Fang Zheng said, "Oh," and said, "Okay. The principal wants to see me for something? What is it?" When they arrived at the principal's office, the still charming female principal was sitting behind a large desk. Fang Zheng was standing there with an embarrassed look on his face because the principal looked strange today. "Looks very serious. Principal, you asked me to come here specially. Is there something wrong?" The female principal pursed her lips, and Fang Zheng realized that what she was holding was his own file information. What happened? Was there something wrong with his information? "Teacher Fang, just sit down. I have something I want to talk to you about." How could Fang Zheng dare to sit down in such an atmosphere? He smiled perfunctorily. "No need, principal, I'd better stand." "What do you want?" The principal raised his head and said with a fake smile, "It's like this, Teacher Fang. I have a question for you. Did you lie about your family situation when filling in the employment information?" Fang Zheng blinked. "No, why do you suddenly say that?" The female teacher stared at Fang Zheng. "But when you left school this morning, the school guard told me that a lady drove you away in a red Porsche. I just came to work and paid special attention. Is that your wife?" Fang Zheng realized something and slapped his forehead. "Oh, principal, I'm sorry, I forgot about this. You called me here today to say that my luxury car to and from get off work will have a bad influence on students, right?" Fang Zheng remembered that when he came to work in the afternoon, the students and teachers at the school gate saw the red Porsche driven by Jiang Xiao, and looked at her with envy and admiration. At that time, he didn't think there was anything wrong. After all, he had seen such looks wherever he went in the past 2 days. But now seeing the principal's serious face, Fang Zheng realized the problem. This is a school, not a shopping mall. The children's competitive spirit is no joke. Especially since I am a teacher now, I shouldn't be so ostentatious. Principal, rest assured, I will pay attention next time and this won't happen again." Unexpectedly, after listening to Fang Zheng's words, the principal did not get his doubts solved. Instead, he just sat there stupidly, blinking his eyes. The female principal, "No, Teacher Fang, that's not what I meant. But the question you just raised is also very good. As a teacher, you really shouldn't be so ostentatious. But the reason I called you here today is mainly to ask, are you here to inspect our school's teaching qualifications? Fang Zheng didn't know what the principal was up to. Principal, why don't I understand what you are saying? The headmistress stood up and asked Fang Zheng to sit down first. Teacher Fang, please sit down and talk. Fang Zheng was even more confused and waved his hands. No, please tell me what you just said. I really don't understand. The female principal suddenly smiled and said, it's like this. Well, your wife, Chairman Jiang Xiao, just called me. I talked to your wife about school funding. Chairman Jiang said that she would donate 3.5 million to our school for teaching. She also said that you took the initiative to bring this up. Our donation for teaching. The headmistress took the teacup from the table and handed it to Fang Zheng with both hands. Teacher Fang, on behalf of the school, I would like to thank you for your support for our school. However, given your identity, I still want to ask, are you really here to be a teacher in our school? Or are you just here to check out the school's educational environment or something? If that's the case, I'm really sorry for neglecting you these past 2 days. Fang Zheng was speechless. Jiang Xiao donated 3.5 million to this school. When did this happen? How come he didn't know about it? Well, I said I'm not sure, do you believe me? The female principal nodded. Yes, I believe you. Maybe I asked too much. How about this, Teacher Fang, if you want to continue to be a teacher in this school, I hope you can serve as the 3rd grade teaching director. Under your leadership, the students will definitely have a brighter future and… Fang Zheng raised his hand. Wait. Principal, please let me go out and make a phone call first. Chapter 17, Eagle Eyes. The female principal made a gesture of invitation. Sure, please go ahead, Teacher Fang. Fang Zheng nodded, and the principal also nodded respectfully. The difference in their attitudes was obvious. Fang Zheng walked out of the office, took out his cell phone, found Jiang Xiao's number, and dialed it without hesitation. The phone rang for a long time before the other end picked up the phone. Hello Fang Zheng. I'm in a meeting here. What's the hurry? Fang Zheng looked back at the smiling principal in the office, walked to the window in the corridor and whispered, Sister, can we discuss this in advance next time? Jiang Xiao's voice on the phone was still as nice as ever, but Fang Zheng felt that behind this nice voice was the echo of RMB. You mean the donation? Is there a problem? Fang Zheng was shocked. Is there a problem? This is 3.5 million yuan. And you can donate it if you want, but you told the principal that I wanted to donate it? Let me tell you, the principal is begging me to be the dean because of this money. Jiang Xia smiled. Isn't that perfect? I made the donation in the hope that the school would take better care of you. Didn't you say that your salary was too low? Ding-a-ling bell suddenly rang, and the class was about to start. You misunderstood, sister. That's not what I meant. Forget it. I'm about to go to class. I'll talk to you in the evening. I'm hanging up now. Fang Zheng hung up the phone and returned to the office, where the principal greeted him with a smile. How is it, Teacher Fang? I just talked to Mr. Jiang on the phone. Have you considered continuing to be a teacher in our school, or? Fang Zheng smiled and said, if the principal is like this, I will definitely continue to be a teacher, but the position of Dean of Studies is too big, so I'd better continue to be a class teacher. The next class is mine, I'm going to go teach the students first. Fang Zheng saw the principal nod and turned around, but after walking a few steps he came back and reminded him, oh, by the way, principal, regarding the donation. The principal hummed, I understand. Since you have filled in single in your information, I understand that you don't want to reveal your identity. The school will not give you any commendations, but you can invite Mr. Jiang out when you have time. On behalf of the school, I would like to invite you two to have tea. Fang Zheng laughed and said, thank you, principal. I will definitely do it next time. This afternoon's classes went smoothly for some unknown reason. Fang Zheng originally thought that the tasks assigned by the system today would definitely not be completed. But I didn't expect that I could complete the Chinese class smoothly. Complete the first class system task now. You can get the Eagle Eye as a reward. After activating the Eagle Eye ability, your field of vision will be increased 100-fold, and you will gain the ability to observe hidden units. This ability can help you better observe the details of the students in the class. By mastering the details, you will get more secrets from the students. Hidden rewards distribution in future tasks. You will know the task rewards in advance. New mission released. Not everyone's student life is smooth sailing. Please save a child's life within 3 days. After completing the mission, you will get that echo. If the mission fails, the system will reclaim some of your previously issued abilities. The system's voice suddenly appeared in my mind, and then suddenly disappeared. However, when the voice fell, Fang Zheng could clearly feel that his vision became much brighter. He looked out the window and could see objects hundreds of meters away, even the texture of a leaf, clearly. And the broad field of vision is only one of the reasons. Fang Zheng's eyes can now clearly see some details that he had not noticed before. For example, Yang Qingya, who was sitting in the classroom at the moment, had a small pen pinned on the chest of his school uniform, and in Fang Zheng's eyes, this pen was actually glowing. Fang Zheng walked over and subconsciously picked up the pen from Yang Qingya's chest. Yang Qingya was so scared that she wanted to reach out to stop him, but Fang Zheng slapped her hand away. Student Yang Qingya, is this pen used for writing? Yang Qingya said timidly, Teacher, of course a fountain pen is used for writing, otherwise what else can it be used for? Fang Zheng took the pen apart, only to see dense wires inside. It was a pinhole camera. Yang Qingya knew that the matter was exposed, so she lowered her head and dared not speak. Fang Zheng frowned and said, Camera? Taking secret photos of the teacher during class. Is the teacher so handsome? This will never happen again. If this happens again, I will ask you to go to the podium and teach for me. Yang Qingya pouted, Yes, teacher. Fang Zheng tore off the wire of the pen and put it in his pocket, then looked around at the students in the classroom. Then Fang Zheng smiled. The cell phone, makeup box, comic books, novels, and some miscellaneous toys hidden in the desk actually all emitted a faint white light in Fang Zheng's eyes. This ability is great. I don't have to go down there to check it myself anymore. Things that are not related to learning will come up on their own. Fang Zheng walked over to the students who had white light on their bodies. Get the comic books out. Teacher, what are you talking about? Fang Zheng accurately pulled the comic book out from the hole in the other person's desk. I told you not to bring anything unrelated to study into the classroom. Take it away. Remember to come to my office after school to ask for it. Afterwards, Fang Zheng collected all the messy things that students had hidden on their bodies, in their desks, and in their clothes. Soon, the entire desk was filled with all the miscellaneous things. It was not until he passed by a student named Shang Dongfang that Fang Zheng discovered that a white light was coming out from the right side of his face. It looked like a bruise. Fang Zheng stared at the student curiously. Why were the white lights previously all contraband? Why were the wounds on this student's face also emitting white light? Classmate, how did you get that wound on your face? Shang Dongfang raised his head in fear. At the same time, Li Yuquan on the other side of the classroom also looked over here vigilantly. Shang Dongfang, teacher, I accidentally knocked it after school. Did you knock it? Are you sure? Tell the teacher if there is anything wrong. The teacher will help you solve it. Shang Dongfang shook his head, there is no teacher, it's really because of knocking. Fang Zheng suddenly realized something and looked around the classroom. The boys and girls in the class who had just looked over here curiously, now all lowered their heads and pretended not to be curious. Fang Zheng patted Shang Dongfang's shoulder and said in a gentle tone, if you have any questions, you can come to the teacher. Don't be afraid. After the bell rang, Fang Zheng originally planned to move all these contraband items to the office and return them to the students after school, but there were too many items, so he had to return them to them after class, but warned them not to do it again. When leaving the classroom, Fang Zheng looked at the lively atmosphere among his classmates. There was actually still some white light in the classroom, but there was nothing special to note. It's just that the new task released by the system is to save a student's life by yourself. What does this mean? Fang Zheng glanced at Shang Dongfang, who was sitting in the classroom flipping through a book. He looked honest. If someone like him. Could it be that the system is referring to him? Looks like we need to investigate. Chapter 18. Who is our teacher? Whether you are a student or a teacher, the moment the bell rings is always exciting. Fang Zheng sorted out the information for a while and walked out of the school gate. When he arrived at the electric bike shed, Fang Zheng was dumbfounded. His electric scooter had been dismantled by someone, leaving only a skeleton. The wheels and the battery were gone. Fang Zheng walked over and confirmed it was indeed his electric car. This, isn't it? This group of students. He sighed. He had originally agreed to let Jiang Xiao pick him up directly at his neighborhood at noon today. After all, he had to ride his electric bike home first, otherwise he would not be able to go to work tomorrow. That's good now. I can just call her and ask her to pick me up. Fang Zheng took out his cell phone, found Jiang Xiao's cell phone number, and walked silently to the school gate. At the same time, not far from the carport, Yang Qingya, Ding Peng, and Li Yuquan secretly hid behind a bush and slowly revealed their heads. Li Yuquan said with a smile, "Well, I am quite good at dismantling electric cars." Yang Qingya's expression became more hesitant than in the morning, but is this really a good idea? What if this teacher has a strong background? Will we go too far? Ding Peng glanced at Yang Qingya and said, "Come on, Qingya, in this crappy junior high school, what big boss would be so free to be a teacher?" Yang Qingya said, "But I did see Mr. Fang's girlfriend driving a Porsche to pick him up this afternoon. Why would I lie to you?" Li Yuquan pursed his lips and said, "That's enough. What's there to argue about? We'll know everything after we confirm it later, right? I've asked Yang Yibiao to check the teacher's background, and there will be results soon." Ding Peng nodded, "Yes, let's follow this Fang to the school gate to take a look. Why don't I believe that he is a big boss?" Yang Qingya gave Ding Peng a disgusted look and had nothing to say about this boy. After the three of them made up their minds, they followed Fang Zheng stealthily. But Fang Zheng had just awakened the eagle eye and had already noticed that there were 3 students following him stealthily. Could it be that they were the ones who dismantled his electric bike? When he reached the roadside, Fang Zheng called Jiang Xiao. The call was quickly picked up, but this time the president's sister's tone was much colder than at noon. "Hello Fang Zheng." Fang Zheng remembered the donation to the school. "Xiao, come to the school to pick me up, and we will go directly to your house." Jiang Xiao was puzzled. "Didn't you say you would ride home first?" "Then I'll come and see you off tomorrow morning." Fang Zheng said, "No need, I can just take a taxi when I go to work tomorrow morning." "Okay, wait a moment, I'll be there soon." Jiang Xiao was very slow this time, and Fang Zheng waited for half an hour before she arrived. There were almost no people left in the school. Ding Peng and his friends were yawning and playing with their phones in the bushes, and it was obvious that they had lost their patience. "Li Yuquan, I say, this guy surnamed Fang has been standing at the school gate for half an hour. What is he doing?" Ding Peng was playing a game, who knows? "I said this teacher wouldn't be a big boss." As soon as he finished speaking, a red Porsche slowly drove towards the end of the road. Yang Qingya's eyes lit up. "Here it comes. Did you see that Porsche? I didn't lie to you, Teacher Fang is really a rich man, otherwise why would his girlfriend drive a Porsche?" Ding Peng put away his phone and looked towards the school gate. He found that what Yang Qingya said was true. And it's not just the Porsche. Fortunately, this teacher's girlfriend is pretty. She has an extremely exquisite appearance, with slightly curly long hair. Even when sitting in the car, you can tell that her temperament is completely different from that of ordinary people. Ding Peng didn't know what to say. Oh my god, is this true? Is this teacher really the big boss? At the school gate, Jiang Xia stopped the car, quietly moved her butt to the passenger seat, and got in. "Why are you so late today?" Jiang Xia glanced at Fang Zheng and said, "Is it late? Unless it's an agreed time, I won't be too anxious. Seeing you is considered fast. It's a pity that some people are still not satisfied after getting the benefits." Fang Zheng frowned. This woman was indeed angry because of what happened at noon. "I was a little anxious when I called you at noon. I don't mean to blame you, but you donated." Jiang Xia glanced to the side and said, "Let's go home first. We'll talk about this after we meet with our parents. Don't worry, I will solve any problems on the same day and won't drag on the conflicts until the next day." Fang Zheng understood what the woman meant. It looked like there would be a fierce battle tonight. The reason why we don't argue now is probably just because we don't have enough time. He smiled and said, "Okay, let's go home first." They drove to their high-end residential area where Jiang Xiao lived. Since Fang Zheng had come to send Jiang Xiao off once last night, he was familiar with the route this time. On the way, the two were silent. Firstly, the atmosphere between them was not very good. Secondly, Fang Zheng had received the eagle eye as a reward from the system this afternoon. He discovered that he could actively turn this superpower on and off. After it is turned on, certain objects or things that need attention will emit a faint white light in Fang Zheng's eyes. After it was turned off, the vision was no different from before, but Fang Zheng discovered that this ability was not only useful on students. After Fang Zheng opened the eagle eye, he carefully examined Jiang Xiao and found that there was a faint white light under her clothes on her left forearm. But this woman didn't wear much decoration. Apart from earrings, she rarely wore necklaces or rings. If it's not an external object, then could it be that he was injured? Considering that Jiang Xiao hardly moved her left arm during this trip, it was most likely the case. For this reason, Fang Zheng stopped deliberately when passing by a drug store. Jiang Xiao looked at Fang Zheng in confusion. Although she had some guesses in her mind, Jiang Xiao was still shocked when Fang Zheng came out of the pharmacy with medical alcohol cotton swabs, band-aids and other items. Fang Zheng opened the alcohol and said, "Why didn't you tell me that you were injured? Roll up your left sleeve." Jiang Xiao stared at Fang Zheng strangely, but after a moment she slowly rolled up her left forearm, and sure enough, there was a scratch in the middle of her forearm, as if it had been rubbed by something sharp. Fang Zheng carefully wiped the wound with a cotton swab dipped in alcohol, and Jiang Xiao groaned in pain in her throat. "Be gentle." Fang Zheng raised his eyebrows. "I didn't expect that the CEO is also afraid of pain." Jiang Xiao retorted, "Is the president not a human being? Not only is she a human, she's also a beautiful woman. So how did you get injured in the company?" Jiang Xiao didn't dare to look at Fang Zheng, she just stared at the wound, because the cause of the injury was indeed a bit embarrassing. "I accidentally twisted my high heels and my arm hit the corner of the stairs." Fang Zheng laughed. Jiang Xiao felt really ashamed. She wore high heels every day, yet she still made such a mistake. Actually, it wasn't about the high heels. It was mainly because she couldn't sleep for unknown reasons after Fang Zheng sent her home last night. She wasn't in a good mood the whole day, so that's why she felt like this. "Be more careful next time. It really hurts me to see you like that." Jiang Xiao's heart trembled, but she finally hummed lightly, "I know, I will pay attention." After wiping the wound, he put a band-aid on it. The wound was not big. If it weren't for the cheat, and the wound was hidden in the sleeve, Fang Zheng really wouldn't be able to see it. However, this thoughtful little gesture calmed Jiang Xiao down a lot. She also began to think about whether it was a bit too much to use Fang Zheng's name without authorization when making a donation in the afternoon. Although I originally wanted to help him, teaching is different from the business world. Chapter 19: Wedding Rings. The car continued to drive, entered the community, and stopped at the parking space. Jiang Xiao suddenly said, "I'm sorry about what happened this afternoon. I didn't think it through. I wanted to help you, but ended up causing you trouble." Fang Zheng was stunned. What did that mean? This woman took the initiative to apologize to him? It's okay. Donating is a good thing. But next time if you donate in my name, you'd better tell me. Otherwise, the principal will suddenly invite me over for tea and ask me to sit in her office. I'm really flattered. Jiang Xiao suddenly smiled and looked at Fang Zheng, "But you are a very likable man, otherwise I wouldn't do such unnecessary things." Fang Zheng smiled awkwardly, "Thank you for your exaggeration, then let's go upstairs, girlfriend." Jiang Xiao nodded. Taking the gifts for the elders into the elevator, Fang Zheng realized that this high-end apartment was different from the ordinary apartment where he lived. From the moment you enter the community, you can see that the greenery, architecture, style, elevator area and floor design all reveal the uniqueness of the rich. The two of them knocked on the door and found that Jiang Xiao's mother seemed to have gone out for something and had not returned home yet. Jiang Xiao asked Fang Zheng to change his slippers and sit in the room for a while she went to wash her face. Fang Zheng sat on the soft sofa. The whole room felt like a work of art. Is this a home? This must be a palace. Xiao, how many square meters did you buy? Jiang Xiao heard the voice in the bathroom and said gently, "This floor is about 270 square meters, but if you count the 2 floors above, the total area is about 800 square meters. Fang Zheng was surprised, "You bought 3 floors. Jiang Xiao said, "No, this house is sold on 3 floors, and there are stairs in the house that you can go up and down freely." Fang Zheng looked back and saw that there was indeed a circular artistic staircase at the end of the room that led directly to the upper floors. Damn it, I can't even dream of living in a house like this. After washing her face, Jiang Xia went into the house and changed into the loose clothes she wore at home. She was now wearing a white long-sleeved shirt and a slightly shorter skirt, but she did not take off her stockings. The woman came and sat down next to Fang Zheng. My mom is probably out shopping, you can watch TV first. After turning on the TV, Jiang Xiao took out her cell phone and continued to deal with work at the company. Fang Zheng took a look at Jiang Xiao's outfit. If a person is beautiful, then he or she will look good in anything. This loose white long-sleeved shirt really makes good use of it on Jiang Xiao. The unique design reveals a little bit of her fair shoulders, making it difficult for Fang Zheng to take his eyes away. Xiao, I noticed you were holding your phone all day. Is there so much going on in the company? Jiang Xiao didn't look up. Didn't I tell you? The company has encountered some problems recently. There is a big project that has not been won. I think the plan is fine, but the client is always dissatisfied. She shuddered and suddenly looked at Fang Zheng, who had a bad sense of crisis. Jiang Xiao frowned and said, Fang Zheng, you know a lot about women, right? Fang Zheng shook his head and said decisively, I don't understand. Jiang Xiao glanced at him and said, that's not what I meant. I want to show you a photo of my client and ask you to see if you can analyze her preferences. In fact, Jiang Xiao was just joking. Otherwise, if Fang Zheng could really tell something from a photo, then her fake boyfriend would be amazing. A capable SWAT officer. Jiang Xiao found the client's photo from the information, which was a selfie of a woman. The woman in the photo is about 45 years old, with a serious expression. She has a lot of artworks on her body, including earrings, necklaces, rings and hair ornaments. The woman in the selfie is holding a cute teddy dog in her arms, and the puppy is sticking out its tongue happily. Jiang Xiao put the phone in front of Fang Zheng, and fearing that he couldn't see clearly, she took the initiative to move closer to him, so that the two of them were almost touching. Can you tell anything? Fang Zheng glanced at the photo and felt that there was nothing special about it. You are big boss, don't your subordinates know clearly what your customer is like? Jiang Xiao had a worried look on her face. The PR team has done some research. It seems that this boss doesn't have any special hobbies. Her only hobby is this little teddy dog she's holding. But the PR team has used all the tricks they could, but to no avail. Jiang Xiao remembered something. Remember the day we met? When you walked into the wrong room, wasn't I waiting for someone? Fang Zheng realized, were you waiting for this female boss at that time? Jiang Xiao nodded, yes, but I waited for an hour and she didn't come, and you came. Fang Zheng took the phone and thought to himself, this guy is indeed a difficult one. Although Fang Zheng had never been exposed to high-end business circles, he knew from watching TV dramas that for such high-end clients, product copywriting was only one aspect, and the main thing was connections and relationships, so you had to cater to their preferences. The eagle's eye is open. Fang Zheng was looking at the photo. Originally, his attention was on the pet dog, but after the eagle eye was opened, a ring on the female boss's right hand actually emitted a faint white light. The meaning is very clear, the ring is the key point, the dog is just an accident. Fang Zheng looked carefully at the position of the ring. Ring finger? Wedding ring. Xiao, this female boss is married, right? Jiang Xiao shook her head, no, but she seems to have been divorced twice, what's wrong? Fang Zheng pointed at the ring on the woman in the photo and said, can you ask your people to investigate this ring and see which of her ex-husbands gave it to her? This ring must have a very special meaning to her. Although Jiang Xiao was skeptical, she still believed Fang Zheng and hummed, that's easy. I can just make a phone call and ask. Wait a moment. She took back her phone and quickly dialed the number of a business manager. After explaining the situation, she received a response and explained some things. The woman's eyes sparkled. She hung up the phone and said to Fang Zheng, this ring seems to have been given to her by her first ex-husband. She has been wearing it since she divorced her first ex-husband. And it seems that this female boss and her first ex-husband started from scratch. Later, they divorced for unknown reasons. Then the two of them said almost in unison. Start with this ex-husband first. Start with this ex-husband first. After they shouted in unison, the two blushed inexplicably. Fang Zheng smiled and said, this ex-husband must have a very special meaning to her. Let your men start from this aspect. I believe there will be a breakthrough. Jiang Xiao suddenly felt like she had broken through a barrier. She looked at Fang Zheng with a hint of curiosity and admiration. This man was amazing. Just at this moment, the door of the room opened. Chapter 20, Old Friend. Jiang Xiao's mother walked in wearing a rich lady's dress and carrying a bag of miscellaneous vegetables. Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao looked towards the door when they heard the voice. Jiang Xiao stood up and asked, "Mom, you're back." The woman hummed subconsciously, and when she changed her shoes, she saw men's shoes at home, and then she said in surprise, "Xiao, is Xiaojing here?" The two of them walked over one after the other, with Fang Zheng following closely behind Jiang Xiao, and only then did the three of them meet each other. "Well, here he comes." "Hello, Auntie. My name is Fang Zheng. I saw you weren't home yet, so I sat in the room for a while. Let me help you get your things." The woman took a quick look at Fang Zheng, who was over 1.80 meters tall and had an exceptionally handsome appearance. Needless to say, this boy is much better than she imagined. When she asked her daughter to describe her boyfriend yesterday, the woman thought her daughter was exaggerating, but now she sees that he is indeed good. Then she smiled and said, "Hello, hello. You don't need anything. You two can go back and sit down. Auntie will cook for you. Xiao, stay with Xiaojing and watch TV for a while." Jiang Xiao looked at her mother's happy expression, then glanced at Fang Zheng. "Well, I'll go to the kitchen to help you later." The woman's eyes were still fixed on Fang Zheng, full of curiosity. After all, he was the first man her daughter brought home. "Thank you for your hard work, Auntie. Cooking is not that hard, just go and have fun." Sometimes there is a strange cause and effect between people. For example, when Fang Zheng saw Jiang Xiao's mother, he suddenly felt that the aunt had a similar personality to his mother for some reason. Jiang Xiao took Fang Zheng back to sit on the sofa, and she went to the kitchen to find out what was going on. Although the man and the woman had only known each other for a short time, they had a very good understanding of each other and understood each other's meaning with just one look. After finding out the news, Jiang Xiao came back and told Fang Zheng what her mother thought of him, and the answer she got was 3 words, "Pretty good." Fang Zheng did raise a question. "Xiao, your family is so rich, why don't you hire a nanny? Auntie still has to go shopping for groceries herself." Jiang Xiao said, "I have looked for one before, but my mother doesn't like the kind of life where she just eats and does nothing. She can't sit still, so she cooks and cleans, and she insists on doing everything herself." Fang Zheng is now certain, she has the same personality as my mother, she can't sit still either. Jiang Xiao asked curiously, "Auntie is like this too?" Fang Zheng whispered, "Exactly the same." While they were talking, Jiang Xiao's mother would occasionally poke her head out of the kitchen to see what the young couple were doing. Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao were both smart people, so they certainly knew what their elders wanted to see. So Fang Zheng took the initiative to hold Jiang Xiao's hand while watching TV. The woman actually felt like an electric shock at that moment, but she knew that Fang Zheng was just shaking hands as per the procedure and there was no other emotion in it, so she didn't say anything. Just let him hold it like this. But she didn't know that Fang Zheng was also a little nervous at the moment. After all, it was the first time he held hands with a girl. Jiang Xiao's hands were a little slender, and although they didn't look very fleshy, they were very soft and comfortable to hold. And there is something Fang Zheng has always wanted to say, and he feels that the current atmosphere is just right. "Xiao, do you usually wear perfume?" Jiang Xiao was watching TV, but her attention was actually on Fang Zheng's clenched hands. She could clearly feel every movement of Fang Zheng's fingers. "No, I don't like the smell of chemicals." "What's wrong? Do I smell?" Fang Zheng hummed, and Jiang Xiao's expression turned strange. "You smell so good." When he said this, the two of them happened to look into each other's eyes. It was just a few simple words, but Jiang Xiao, who thought there was something strange about her, had her eyes widened. "What are you saying?" "You smell like jasmine, but it's not quite the same as jasmine. That's why I asked you if you have the habit of wearing perfume often." "You?" Jiang Xiao turned her head away and pretended to continue watching TV, but in fact she felt her face getting hot and didn't want Fang Zheng to see it. "I didn't wear any perfume, so how could there be any jasmine scent?" This man's mouth. Seeing that Jiang Xiao didn't say anything, Fang Zheng didn't intend to ask any further questions. He just tightened his grip on Jiang Xiao's hand unconsciously. It was an unconscious action, but it made Jiang Xiao, who was already a little sensitive, even more agitated. She could hardly bear it as she clenched her hands. She took the initiative to let go of Fang Zheng's hand. "I'm going to the kitchen to see how the food is, you sit here for a while." Fang Zheng said, "Oh," stared at Jiang Xiao's back as if she was running away, and continued watching TV. After helping her mother cook for a while, Jiang Xia finally calmed down a little. Although her mother kept urging her daughter to just accompany Fang Zheng, it didn't make sense for the son-in-law to come home while the mother and daughter were cooking and let the son-in-law watch TV. But Jiang Xia refused to go over and insisted on helping with cooking. She felt that something was wrong with her today. Her emotions changed drastically throughout the day, even though the day for the relatives to come had not yet arrived. That's strange. After finishing the meal, the family sat at the table and chatted about some trivial family matters. In order to avoid being exposed, Fang Zheng even picked up a few pieces of food for Jiang Xiao. Because their relationship was not real, he didn't put his chopsticks into his mouth before picking up the food, for fear that Jiang Xiao would feel disgusted. But Jiang Xiao noticed this small detail. Such a caring man. Xiaozhen, what do you do for a living? How old are you this year? You seem younger than my Xiao. Fang Zheng hummed, Auntie, I am a teacher in a junior high school now. I am 25 years old this year, a little younger than Xiao. The woman laughed, 3 years age difference. That's not a big difference. You've seen our family situation. Although we have some money, Xiao and I are not the kind of people who value money. As long as you are truly good to Xiao, Auntie will not prevent you from being together. This aunt is pretty nice, and is exactly the same as the one Jiang Xiao described before. Thank you, Auntie. I will definitely treat Xiao well and live up to your expectations. The woman smiled, and Fang Zheng did not forget to hold the woman's hand after he finished speaking. Jiang Xiao felt the warmth of his palm and stopped eating. She didn't know what she was thinking. Xiaozhen, you just said that you and your mother are the only ones at home. Your life must be very hard, right? It's okay. I used to have a hard time going to school, but now that I've graduated, things are much better. The woman kept staring at Fang Zheng while eating, because she felt that the young man in front of her looked a bit like an old friend whom she had not contacted for many years. Although there was a high probability that she had made a mistake, she still chose to speak after hesitating. The woman said, I don't know why, but when I was in the kitchen just now, I felt that you looked familiar. You looked a lot like a friend of mine. Fang Zheng was puzzled. Friends? The woman nodded, and suddenly there was a trace of sadness in her eyes. It's been more than 20 years now. That was my best friend when I was in college. Her name was Hua Wenjia. You look a bit like her. The woman spoke unintentionally, but Fang Zheng was stunned. Hua Wenjia? Isn't this his mother's name? Chapter 21 A Happy Accident. Auntie, what was the name of your best friend in college? Hua Wenjia. The woman nodded. Yes, now that I think about it, we were very close at the time, but after graduation, we lost contact due to some messy things we did back then. We haven't seen each other for many years. Wait a moment. Fang Zheng put down his chopsticks, took out his cell phone, and found a photo of himself and his mother. Auntie, can you take a look and see if it's her? The woman took Fang Zheng's phone and covered her mouth in surprise when she saw the photo. Although 30 years have passed, the two little girls with pigtails have now grown into aunts and women in their 50s. But some things, eyes, looks, cannot be changed. That's her. This. The woman realized something and her eyes widened. It can't be such a coincidence, right? Xiaozhen, you are Wenjia's son. Fang Zheng smiled and nodded. He didn't expect it to be such a coincidence. What would the scene be like when a son-in-law meets his mother-in-law and suddenly it becomes a gathering of old friends? Even Jiang Xiao didn't understand how the situation had turned out like this. Fang Zheng took back his phone and called his mother. After explaining the situation to his mother, she also looked shocked. Really? Son, are you saying that Xiao's mother is? Mom, it's true. Auntie has recognized you. If you don't believe me, I'll let you two talk on the phone. Okay, give her the phone. Jiang Xiao's mother took the phone excitedly. When she heard the familiar voice of her old friend, she didn't know why tears welled up in her eyes. Hello Wenjia, it's me Xia. Long time no see. Xia. It's really you. Is Fang Zheng at your house now? Yes, she came to my house for dinner. I didn't expect that. She wiped her tears and said, are you home alone now? How about the three of us go find you? Okay. The feelings of the older generation may be incomprehensible to young people like Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao. Especially, the fates of these two women are so coincidentally the same. Both of their husbands have passed away many years ago, and both of them are running their families silently. Fang Zheng drove Jiang Xiao and his aunt to his home. Although they were both in their 50s, the two women burst into tears and hugged each other when they met, as if the wheel of time had been turned forward 30 years. After that, the topic in the room completely moved away from Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao and turned into a conversation between old friends. The two mothers were drinking water and chatting in the room. This was the first time that Jiang Xiao came to Fang Zheng's home. The room where Fang Zheng lived was not as exquisite and luxurious as her own house, but the 120 square meter house was very clean. The two sat on the sofa watching TV, and the two mothers chatted about the past, the difficulties they had faced over the years, and how to live. The topics between younger generations and between elders are always different. Fang Zheng's mother said, "Xiaoya, I didn't expect that after all these years, we would get together again because of the children's matter. Yeah, you said you didn't have a cell phone after graduation, and you had a lot of things to do after you got married. When I wanted to contact you again, I couldn't find you. I missed you so much." Fang Zheng's mother said, "Society is developing rapidly. But since this happened so coincidentally, why don't we talk about the future of these two children?" Jiang Xiao's mother laughed and said, "Oh, what else is there to talk about? Don't I know your son well? I will definitely agree to this marriage. Then let's pick a good day for these two children to get married." Okay. Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao were watching TV. When they heard the two women suddenly change the topic to them, they were so shocked that they were speechless. Fang Zheng stood up, "Mom, Auntie, please don't. Xiao and I haven't arrived yet." Jiang Xiao also stood up, "Yes, Mom, Auntie, we are not in a hurry to get married now." The two women looked at the young couple strangely, both puzzled, and said in unison, "No rush. Then when are you planning to get married? No rush. Then when are you planning to get married?" Their voices were serious, with a hint of reprimand, as if the child had become their common target at the moment. Fang Zheng felt that he had been forced into a desperate situation. He glanced at the calendar and thought of a solution quickly. "Mom, have you forgotten? Isn't this my zodiac year? You can't get married in your zodiac year. Xiao and I plan to postpone our wedding until next year." Jiang Xiao glanced at Fang Zheng. Why were they suddenly getting married? But seeing Fang Zheng's anxious look, Jiang Xiao obviously realized that this was the only excuse. She hummed, thinking that delaying for a while was the best way to smooth things over, and said, "Yes, this year is Fang Zheng's zodiac year, it's unlucky to get married. We plan to wait until next year." The two elders stared at each other and felt that this excuse was acceptable. It was indeed said that one could not get married in one's birth year. Jiang Xiao's mother thought about it and changed the subject. "Hey Wenjia, I'm alone at home now anyway, why don't I move in next door to you, and we can go shopping together?" Fang Zheng's mother's eyes lit up, "That's a good idea. I don't have anyone to talk to usually, but will you feel wronged if you suddenly move to such a poor place?" Jiang Xiao's mother said, "I managed to survive such a hard time in school, so what's the big deal? Besides, don't you know me? I can't get used to living in a big house like that. Leave it to these two kids." Jiang Xiao and Fang Zheng had just breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that nothing was wrong, but when these words came out, the woman was startled again. "Mom, what did you say?" The woman looked at her daughter and said, "Isn't what I said clear enough? I won't live with you anymore. I'm moving here. You and Xiaojin can live together. If you two don't like the fact that the house is not new, it would be better if you buy a new one." "Oh, yes, why not just not let Xiaojin move in? You two should buy a new house, a smaller one this time. A big house won't be cozy enough." Jiang Xiao, this. At the same time, Fang Zheng's mother also looked at her son and said firmly, "Son, since your mother-in-law said so, then you can live with Xiao. Although we are spending other people's money now, it does not mean that you don't have to pay it back in the future. When you make money in the future, you must give it to Xiao, understand? And you must treat her well at ordinary times. If Xiao is wronged, I will not forgive you." Jiang Xiao's mother smiled and said, "Wenjia, look at what you are saying. When these two children get married, we will be a family, without any distinction between you and me." The two women held each other's hands. "Yes. From now on I will call you my in-laws. My dear girlfriend, this is fate." The accident came so fast, like a tornado, that the two elders couldn't even wait until the next day after their chat. That night, Jiang Xiao's mother asked her daughter to call the real estate company and said that she wanted to sell the previous 3-story house and buy a house from Fang Zheng's mother. The moving company also received such an important task in the middle of the night and worked all night. You should know that real estate companies and moving companies are closed at night. The other party was so enthusiastic because of Jiang Xiao's identity and also because they were willing to pay more money, so the efficiency would naturally double. But the elders were happy. Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao stood downstairs, watching the moving company moving things into the building over and over again. What are they going to do? Are they really going to live together in the future? Chapter 22 Moving. The moving company was busy and noisy until 3 or 4 in the morning. During this time, some neighbors came to ask if they were crazy in the middle of the night because of the noise. As a result, Jiang Xiao's mother gave each of the neighbors a red envelope of 3,000 yuan, and the neighbors who came to cause trouble immediately greeted her with smiles. He said amiably, "Move ahead, move ahead. We are all neighbors and everyone can understand." The whole building seemed to be full of laughter and joy tonight, except for Jiang Xiao and Fang Zheng, whose belongings were placed downstairs by the moving company. The two elders tacitly agreed not to interfere in the affairs of the young people, and told them to find a house to live in as soon as possible. What should I do? Jiang Xiao looked at the cardboard boxes all over the floor downstairs. Fang Zheng didn't have many things, but she had a lot of her own things. Clothes, bags, and some miscellaneous decorations, artworks, etc. Fortunately, all their home appliances were purchased together before, and now that the building has been sold, those big items don't have to be moved. Let's find a house first. I'll just share the rent with you. What else can I do? Fang Zheng replied. Jiang Xiao glared at Fang Zheng, then let out a long sigh after a moment. How did things suddenly turn out like this? She called her secretary and asked her to quickly find a house of at least 200 square meters in the residential area closest to the company and Tulip Middle School. She has to move in tonight at the latest, and the secretary said that's no problem. Jiang Xiao looked at the time. It was only 4:30. The two of them had planned to go upstairs to rest for a while, but the two mothers blocked Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao at the door when they were about to enter. Even questioned them. Why are you upstairs again? Go find a house. Yes, even if we are separated in the future, you two will live your lives, and we two sisters will live our lives. If you want to come back to visit, you have to get our consent. I am not free today. Yes, I'm busy. Without giving the two kids a chance to reply, the door was slammed shut. The two elders started tidying up the furniture in the room, chatting and laughing, as if they had completely ignored the two kids. Of course, the elders did it on purpose. Not getting married? Not getting married and still wanting to go back to your hometown to visit relatives. That's wishful thinking. Fang Zheng and the other man stood on the stairs staring at each other. She had no choice but to go downstairs again. After standing downstairs for a while in the breeze, Jiang Xiao felt a little cold. Fang Zheng skillfully took off his coat and put it on Jiang Xiao. Suddenly Fang Zheng laughed. It seems that we are really destined to meet each other. We have encountered the same thing. He found a pack of cigarettes in the package downstairs. Fang Zheng seldom smoked, but he took off his coat and gave it to Jiang Xiao because he was too cold. At least having a cigarette can warm you up a little. Unexpectedly, as soon as the lighter started to fire, it was snatched away by Jiang Xiao. Stop smoking. This stuff is bad for your health. Don't you have to go to work at 8 o'clock? There are still several hours left. Come to my office and sit for a while. Fang Zheng said, "Oh," and looked at the mess on the floor. What about your clothes and shoes? Throw them here. Jiang Xiao said, I have told the secretary that she will come over to help us watch it later, and there are cameras in your community, so don't worry. Being your secretary is quite hard. You have to be on call 24 hours a day. Jiang Xiao looked at Fang Zheng in confusion, but Fang Zheng shrugged, remaining indifferent. The two drove to the Jiang group where Jiang Xiao worked. When Fang Zheng came to pick Jiang Xiao up from get off work yesterday, he was actually shocked by this place. The building has 17 floors, and there are at least a dozen offices on each floor. This entire huge building is Jiang Xiao's property. Fang Zheng followed Jiang Xiao up the stairs. Her office was on the last floor, which was the 17th floor. Xiao, your company is so big, how much do you make a year? We made a lot of money in the past few years, but the market has not been doing well in recent years, and the company's annual turnover is only a few hundred million. A few hundred million. And the performance is not good. Fang Zheng remembered that when he first met this beautiful lady Jiang, she seemed to have told him that she opened a small company. Now I see that this company is so small. It is like an ant. Jiang Xia noticed that Fang Zheng was looking at her as if she were a monster, and for some reason she wanted to laugh. What's on your mind? Fang Zheng joked, I was thinking, if I had agreed when Auntie proposed that we get married, would I own half of this company now? Jiang Xiao actually thought about this question carefully. Our company is a joint stock company. Even though the company's profits are hundreds of millions, it doesn't mean that I can get a share of them. According to the shares, my personal income is only about 40 to 50 million per year. If you marry me, the two of us can only spend this much money. Fang Zheng swallowed his saliva and said, Only? I don't think I can spend that much in my lifetime. You can spend all the money by having a few more girlfriends. Nothing costs more money than women. Jiang Xiao's face looked normal after she said this, but in fact she was testing him intentionally. Now that he has said this, how will he respond? Fang Zheng countered the opponent's move and let out a long breath. At the same time, the elevator arrived at the station and the elevator door opened with a beep. Fang Zheng said, If I really marry you, I won't have the heart to look for other women. You alone are enough for me to bear. Jiang Xia bit her lower lip. She didn't respond because she couldn't. There are only a few large offices on the 17th floor of the Jiang Group. Jiang Xiao's office is on the easternmost side. As soon as you enter the door, you will see mountains and water in the spacious room. There is a small fountain, a small rockery, and in addition to the bookshelf, there is also a huge desk and a leather sofa. Jiang Xiao turned on the air conditioner. Although it was already April and the temperature was slowly rising during the day, it was still so cold at 4 or 5 in the morning that it made people shiver. She said to Fang Zheng, You can lie down on the sofa for a while. I will have someone bring breakfast up around 7 o'clock. After you finish eating, I will ask my secretary to take you to work. Jiang Xiao originally planned to ask her secretary to send Fang Zheng off, but when she thought about how her secretary was not bad either, she decided not to make herself feel upset. She didn't want Fang Zheng to come into contact with too many women. There is no reason, I just don't want to. Fang Zheng was not polite. Anyway, there were only him and Jiang Xiao in the office. The man hadn't slept for 2 nights and was very sleepy. He immediately lay down on the sofa, but when he glanced at Jiang Xiao, he noticed that she didn't seem to be sleeping. She sat at her desk, staring at her phone, not knowing what she was busy with. Xiao, don't you want to sleep for a while? Jiang Xiao glanced at the man and said, The secretary sent me some pictures of the room types and asked me which one I wanted to buy. Would you like to come and take a look? Fang Zheng closed his eyes, No need, you can choose. I just didn't expect that after just a few days, we would have to live together. Jiang Xiao paused as she scrolled across the screen. Somehow, some imagined scenes of her and Fang Zheng living together suddenly flashed through her mind. I feel an inexplicable tingling sensation in my heart. Will there be another man in my room in the future? The woman put down her phone and hesitated in her heart. Fang Zheng, although we are going to live together tonight, our rooms must be separate. The man said nothing. Jiang Xia thought the man did it on purpose, so she took a deep breath and said, Even if we have to stay in the same room, I will buy 2 beds. Don't forget our relationship. The man still didn't say anything. Jiang Xia felt that Fang Zheng was getting too far. Did you listen to me? But when she looked up, she found that the man was already fast asleep on the sofa, and he had no energy to listen to what she said. Chapter 23, Sleeping in Class, What Can I Do? Jiang Xiao tilted her head, falling asleep. So soon. She stood up quietly and walked to Fang Zheng, and put the coat that the man had just put on her back on Fang Zheng. The woman squatted down and stared at the boy's sleeping face. That handsome young face looked so relaxed that Jiang Xiao couldn't help but feel a strange trance. Fang Zheng has shown his attentiveness, sharpness, and witty ridicule in the past 2 days. All of these make women inevitably curious about what kind of man they accidentally meet. If you had listened to your aunt and my mom just now in the room, maybe we would have really gotten married. The first ray of sunlight in the morning shone on the huge 17-story building. Jiang Xiao lay on the desk and moved her eyes slightly. Mr. Jiang, are you awake? Jiang Xiao looked up when she heard the secretary's familiar voice. The first thing she looked at was the sofa, but there was no one there. Then I glanced at the time on the computer. It was 9:40. I actually slept for so long. Xiaomi, when did you come in? Where is the person sleeping on the sofa? I just came in, Mr. Jiang. The guest on the sofa left after breakfast. He left around 7 o'clock. Jiang Xiao nodded. It seemed that she had overslept. She had been planning to see him off. Got it. What's going on at the company this morning? The secretary named Xiaomi smiled and said, You said you would hold a department meeting in the morning at 10 o'clock, but I see you are not in a good mood today. How about I notify the heads of each department to postpone the meeting to the afternoon? Jiang Xiao rubbed his temples. Well, go ahead, and set the meeting for 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, Mr. Jiang. Xiaomi pursed her lips. As a secretary, she had a good relationship with the boss. Moreover, after she went to the community arranged by President Jiang this morning, she was really curious about something. I couldn't help but ask, Mr. Jiang, there is something I need to tell you. I asked the moving company to move your things into the house you chose, but there are some men's belongings in it. Should I put them in a separate room or put them in your room? Jiang Xiao frowned. Men's item, square one. Single. Forget it, just put one room away first, and you can ask the housekeeping company to clean it up, and don't worry about the rest. Put them in the same room. Xiaomi knew that his boss was in love. No wonder there haven't been many meetings these past 2 days, and my mood has improved a lot. Mr. Jiang, was the one sleeping on the sofa just now your boyfriend? Xiaomi looked curious. Jiang Xiao glared at her. Xiaomi immediately smiled and said, I understand, Mr. Jiang, I won't say anything nonsense, then I'll leave. Jiang Xiao saw Xiaomi running out happily, and thought of something. She took out her landline and called the project manager. Hello, Manager Chen. It's me. Go investigate the ex-husband of yesterday's client. Yes, start with her ex-husband. Report to me anytime if there is any situation. In the classroom of Class 4, Grade 3 at Tulip Middle School. Yang Xingya, Li Yuquan, Ding Peng and Zhuge Hong sat around a table. The four of them all had gloomy expressions. The root cause was the bizarre incident last night when after they dismantled Fang Zheng's electric car, the mysterious head teacher got so angry that he was taken away by a Porsche. Ding Peng said, Yarn Biao checked this Fang Zheng again last night. The school's employment information shows that he comes from an ordinary family. Moreover, this guy just graduated and his interpersonal relationships are simple. It's a very ordinary resume. Li Yuquan asked, then how do you explain what happened yesterday? Didn't you see it too? Yang Xingye let out a long breath and laid on the table. It seems that this teacher Fang made up the information at school casually. He is not a fresh graduate at all, nor does he come from an ordinary family. He is just playing with us. Ding Peng said, what should we do? Are we really going to just listen to him and let him be our class teacher? Although Zhuge Hong, who was standing by, did not join the three people's pursuit yesterday, he had already understood it. Since you said that Mr. Fang's identity is not ordinary, then hard tactics won't work. We can only use soft tactics. The other three perked up their spirits, softly. How can we be soft? Zhuge Hong said, why don't you listen to the class? As soon as he comes, the whole class falls asleep on the desk. He can't let us all stand outside as punishment. After a long time, he can't stand us anymore. So he will resign or transfer to another position. Ding Peng grinned, hey, this is a good idea. Why didn't I think of such a simple idea? Then why don't we do this first? He comes to class, we just play. If he doesn't listen, let's see what he can do. The other three people couldn't think of any good ideas for the time being, so they all nodded. So, under the unanimous resistance of all the students in Class 4, Grade 3, the students in the classroom have been in a limp state since Fang Zheng walked into the classroom today. Some were lying on the table, some were in a daze, and some were quietly drawing in a notebook. Fang Zheng lectured for 3 minutes, but no one listened. The eagle eye was opened, showing that the students in the classroom did not bring any prohibited items. Fang Zheng threw the textbook on the desk. My goodness, after releasing the snake, playing with seduction, and dismantling the electric car, now that the hard method doesn't work, he is going to use the soft method. The key is that I can't do anything about it. You guys don't seem to be in high spirits today. Didn't you sleep well last night? The classmates glanced at each other suddenly, and no one paid any attention to Fang Zheng. Fang Zheng moved his stool aside and stopped teaching. He sat there and said, "How about this? The teacher is not a very rigid person. Let's guess riddles in the first half of the class. If you are interested, we can continue the class in the second half. How about that?" The classroom was still dead silent. Fang Zheng stood there awkwardly, and simply got straight to the point. "Classmates, which woman had the smallest breasts in ancient times?" Ding Peng suddenly raised his hand and said boredly, "I know, Princess Taiping." Fang Zheng smiled and said, "No, next one." Yang Qingya asked doubtfully, "Jinping?" Fang Zheng shook his head, "That's not right. It's Hua Mulan. As the saying goes, a grandfather has no eldest son, and Mulan has no elder brother. So she has no elder brother." There was silence in the classroom at first, followed by a burst of boos. Yang Qingya said, "Teacher, you are so boring. The celebrity sister Liu Yeye will hold a concert in our province next week. Why don't you invite our whole class to watch it, and we will all be excited?" Fang Zheng said word by word, "Concert? What's so good about that? It's not as good as the teacher's singing. How about I sing for you? It's free." Yang Qingya choked and turned to look at Ding Peng. "Ding Peng, can't your father get tickets? Why don't you get us a few? Really? Ding Peng, I want one too. I want one too, I want one too." When the class heard this, it suddenly became lively. Everyone went to ask for tickets, and no one attended Fang Zheng's class. Fang Zheng sighed and crossed his arms over his chest. Quiet. The classroom really became quiet after hearing this, but the atmosphere instantly turned back to the soft state it was just now. It seems that it is not enough to just calm down these students, I have to make them obey me. But are all middle school students nowadays so difficult to deal with? I just want to be a good teacher. Chapter 24 Shang Dongfang. After being ignored for a whole class, since these guys didn't want to listen, Fang Zheng simply let them study on their own. Just when leaving the classroom, Shang Dongfang suddenly ran out of the classroom with his mouth covered for some reason, and almost bumped into Fang Zheng on the way. The boy strode straight to the toilet at the end of the corridor. As he ran, some yellow liquid came out of his mouth. Fang Zheng squatted on the ground and moved his nose. There was a strange smell. His heart suddenly sank and he walked back to the classroom. The classroom was still as quiet as before, except that there was an open bottle of iced tea lying on the ground. The liquid flowed all over the floor, and the students around the bottle pinched their noses with a look of disgust on their faces. What happened to Shang Dongfang? No one answered in the classroom. Fang Zheng glanced at Li Yuquan and Ding Peng, the two most troublesome people in the class, but they were both pretending to be asleep. He had no choice but to go to the bathroom and wait for Shang Dongfang to come out after rinsing his mouth, hoping to ask him something. As a result, before he could open his mouth, Shang Dongfang saw Fang waiting for him. He was so scared that he said hurriedly, "Hello, Teacher Fang," and went back. The boy's eyes were a little red. Fang Zheng sighed. It seemed that the system was talking about him. "Dongfang, you can tell the teacher anything." Shang Dongfang looked back at Fang Zheng, hummed, and said nothing more. When he returned to the office, the dean was often not there. Every time Fang Zheng came back, there was usually only a female teacher with a ponytail handling the lesson plans. This female teacher was also the teacher of Class 4, Grade 3, and she taught English. She was the one who saw Fang Zheng being bitten by a snake that day and was about to call the infirmary. When the other party saw Fang Zheng coming back at this time, he was a little confused. "Teacher Fang, isn't the get out of class over yet? Why are you back early?" Fang Zheng sat dejectedly on the chair. "No one is listening to the class, what's the point of teaching? I might as well come back and rest." The female teacher put down the lesson plan, put her hands together, and looked gentle and elegant. "How dare they not listen to your class? Teacher Fang, let me tell you, since you became the head teacher of Grade 3, Class 4, these children have become much more obedient." She pursed her lips and said, "Although they may not listen in class, at least they are not doing anything in the class like before. We teachers can at least teach the class properly. This proves that your teaching method is still excellent." Fang Zheng frowned, thinking, is this progress? It seems so, but the students are not paying attention to the class, and they have gone from playing to sleeping. It seems that there is no substantial change in essence. Anyway, it's right not to learn. The female teacher saw Fang Zheng staring at her and her face suddenly turned red. She turned her head to the desk and continued to revise the lesson plans and test papers. He whispered, "Then take a break. I'll take care of the test paper." Fang Zheng blinked, but his mind had actually already drifted to another place. Teacher Yang, I want to ask you something. How much do you know about Shang Dongfang from class 4? The female teacher surnamed Yan turned around again. Shang Dongfang? Is he the honest one? Fang Zheng hummed, "That's him. Does he usually have a bad relationship with his classmates at school?" Teacher Yarn shook his head. "I'm not sure. I feel like the students in class 4 are all messed up, and other teachers don't go to class very often, so no one pays much attention to this class. Yes, the death class is the worst class in Tulip Middle School. The teachers don't even dare to go there, so how could anyone care about a student?" "I see. Thank you." Fang Jing saw the file bag on the table and found Shang Dongfang's file in the student information. This boy's family is quite simple. He is an only child and a day student, which means he can go home at night. His academic performance is poor, but there is nothing special to be found from the information alone. There were 4 classes in the morning. After class, it was the first time for Fang Jing to eat in the school cafeteria, as he was a teacher who also worked in the same office. Teacher Yang naturally invited Fang Jing to have lunch together, and Fang Jing did not refuse. But when the two of them walked to the cafeteria, Fang Jing searched the cafeteria but did not find any trace of Shang Dongfang. After taking a few bites, Fang Jing couldn't eat any more. I looked up and saw Teacher Yarn, who had just served the food, and sat down. "Teacher Yarn, I have something to do and I'm going to be out for a while. Please enjoy your meal here." The female teacher looked puzzled. "Teacher Fang, you don't want to eat?" "I'm not very hungry. Let's go." Fang Jing took the food tray and found the students in his class and asked them if they had seen Shang Dongfang after class. His classmates all shook their heads. There was no other way, he could only go and look for it himself. The school had a rule that commuter students were not allowed to leave school at noon, but Shang Dongfang didn't eat in the cafeteria, so where could he go? Fang Jing first went to the classroom to look around, but couldn't find it. He then went to the school restroom to look around, but still couldn't find it. I ran to the student dormitory in the middle of the day and finally met a student from the next class by chance. He said that Ding Peng seemed to have called Shang Dongfang to the south playground. Fang Zheng had a bad feeling in his heart and ran directly towards the south playground. Sure enough, before reaching the playground, Fang Zheng saw a group of boys and girls gathered together and making a lot of noise from afar. "Hey! What are you doing?" Fang Zheng shouted, and a group of people turned around and saw Fang Zheng, and immediately scattered in panic. There were students from class 4 and other classes in there, but Ding Peng didn't seem to be there. After the crowd dispersed, Shang Dongfang stood up from the crowd, as if he was pulling up his pants. He was so frightened that he dared not move. Fang Zheng walked over and took a look at him and found that he was not seriously injured. "What's wrong?" Shang Dongfang wiped his tears and sniffed, but he mumbled nothing in the end. Fang Zheng simply said, "Did you get beaten?" Shang Dongfang shook his head, "No." Fang Zheng was helpless and patted Shang Dongfang on the shoulder. "You haven't eaten yet. Teacher will accompany you to the cafeteria first." Shang Dongfang still shook his head and whispered, "No need, Teacher Fang, I'm not hungry." After he finished speaking, he slowly walked towards the teaching building. Fang Zheng couldn't help but say, "Dongfang, if you have any problem, tell the teacher and I will help you. Also, when you grow up, you have to know how to fight back. Do you understand?" Shang Dongfang paused, but the stone in his heart still suppressed the urge to confide. There was another Chinese class in the afternoon. Needless to say, the classroom was in a sluggish state again. Fang Zheng was too lazy to continue teaching and his eyes were focused on Shang Dongfang, who was sitting in the classroom. He was an honest, quiet man, and wore mostly black clothes. Fang Zheng slapped his forehead, but couldn't think of any good solution. After class, Fang Zheng received a call from Jiang Xiao, saying that a new house had been found. Jiang Xiao sent the address of her new house to Fang Zheng, but she had to work overtime at the company tonight and might not be able to go home until very late. "Jiang Xiao, I asked my secretary to prepare some food in the room, you don't have to buy it." Fang Zheng, "Got it. Be careful at night." Fang Zheng looked at the address of the building and the code of the door lock. The house that Jiang Xiao found was located in the center of Jiang Group and Tulip Middle School. In other words, it is very close to where both of them work, which is very considerate. I returned to my new home according to the address and happened to find that there seemed to be a new neighbor moving into a small room next door. Fang Zheng didn't care at first, but after moving into the new house, he was amazed at how good life was when he was rich. It was a huge house of 200 square meters. The furnishings and layout in the house seemed to be modified according to the architectural style of Jiang Xiao's previous home. Chapter 25, Hit Me. There are 4 bedrooms and a living room, and the house is bright and spacious when the lights are turned on. There were several packed lunch boxes on the table in the living room. This should be the dinner that Jiang Xiao asked her secretary to prepare for her. Fang Zheng sat down on the sofa, opened his lunchbox, and found the class group for grade 3, class 4. Night is when people are most likely to confide in others and when defenses are most easily broken. If you don't seize this precious time, you will lose the chance to take action. I found Shang Dongfang's WeChat and added him, but unfortunately he didn't agree. Who would have thought that just as Fang Zheng was eating his lunchbox and staring at his phone in a daze, some loud banging and smashing sounds came from the next room. Although I know they are moving, the noise is too loud. I approached the door out of curiosity and listened for a while and found that it didn't seem like someone was moving, but rather a quarrel. You bitch, you didn't even tell me you were moving, did you? Did you think I couldn't find you? Where's the money? I didn't, I really didn't, please let me and the child go. I looked through the peephole. I would have never known it was such a coincidence. The child in the family of 3 in the next room was none other than Shang Dongfang from my class. Fang Zheng was surprised and then opened the door. The 3 of them looked at Fang Zheng at the same time, especially Shang Dongfang, who stood there in a daze with red eyes, and uttered a word silently, "Teacher." Shang Dongfang's father slammed the door. Then he seemed to be clamoring for money, and Fang Zheng couldn't help but knock on the door. The noise inside became much quieter, and Fang Zheng started knocking on the door instead. Open the door. The door opened with a bang, and Fang Zheng stood face to face with Shang Dongfang's father. He was a burly middle-aged man with a flat head and a strange tattoo on his neck. He was wearing a white short-sleeved shirt. If you ask him if he looked like Shang Dongfang, he didn't look like him at all. What are you knocking on? Fang Zheng, don't you know that quarreling in the middle of the night is disturbing to others? It's none of your business. Are you looking for death? Fang Zheng let out a long breath and looked at Shang Dongfang in the room. Dongfang, you moved here. Shang Dongfang nodded tremblingly, his right cheek a little red. Fang Zheng saw his swollen face and asked, what happened to your face? Did your dad beat you? Shang Dongfang lowered his head, shook it slowly, and shed tears. He is not my father died a long time ago. The middle-aged man's anger instantly soared when he heard this. If you bring this up again, do you want to be beaten again? The man rushed towards Shang Dongfang, raising his arm without thinking. Fang Zheng had good physical fitness, and the first novice reward given by the system was to enhance his physical fitness. Although this sturdy man looked much stronger than Fang Zheng, his strength was far inferior to Fang Zheng's. Fang Zheng saw that the middle-aged man was about to fight again, so he went over and grabbed the man's arm and said, if you have something to say, talk it over nicely. Don't fight. The middle-aged man widened his eyes. Are you looking for death? Fang Zheng grabbed his arm, swung his right leg and kicked him hard. The man was kicked half a meter away with a bang. The force was so strong that you could tell how painful it was just by listening to the man screaming as he lay on the ground. The right side of her belly, which was covered with a white short-sleeved shirt, soon turned purple. Fang Zheng looked at him and said, let me make it clear in advance that what I did is not called beating someone up. This is called acting bravely for justice, understand? Fang Zheng took out his cell phone and found the police number. Hello, 110. There is domestic violence going on in Building 3 of Zijin community. Yes, it is extremely bad. Who am I? I am a good citizen who acted bravely. I saw that their child's face was swollen, so I punched this guy a few times. Come quickly. He put away his phone and glanced at Shang Dongfang. He's really not your father. Stepfather. Shang Dongfang was still amazed at Fang Zheng's kick and nodded. Fang Zheng said, oh, and then he felt relieved. He looked at Shang Dongfang's mother and asked her. After the woman agreed, he walked to the middle-aged man. He punched him hard several times, and the middle-aged man screamed several times. He kept beating him until he begged for help from Rao Fang Zheng, and then he stopped. Looking at his bloody fist, he said to him, "Don't bully children by relying on your size. When Dongfang becomes stronger than you in the future, have you ever thought about your own old age? Are you stupid? Are you only thinking about the present?" The big guy lay on the ground, covering his face and not daring to move. Fang Zheng went back to his room and brought some lunch boxes to the mother and son. "Eat something." Shang Dongfang didn't dare to take it at first, but after Fang Zheng passed it to him again, he took it. "Thank you, Mr. Fang." Shang Dongfang's mother also wiped her tears and continued, "Thank you, teacher. Why be polite? We are all neighbors." The police arrived not long after. Fang Zheng and his family were taken to the police station, where they learned the basic situation. Although the middle-aged man kept saying that he was beaten, based on Fang Zheng's description and the mother and daughter's descriptions, the police had a basic understanding of the situation. He just warned Fang Zheng and then let him out. "It's a good thing to be brave and do what is right, but be gentler next time and just call us earlier." Only Shang Dongfang and his mother and Fang Zheng came out, but the middle-aged Liangshan hero who beat the child would have to stay in there for a few more days. Because the police found out one thing from the mother and son's description, that this guy was addicted to gambling, and he had a WeChat group full of gambling friends. But this matter has nothing to do with Fang Zheng, so he doesn't care. It was already past 11 o'clock in the evening when Fang Zheng brought the mother and daughter home. He originally wanted Shang Dongfang to have a good sleep so that he would be in better condition for school the next day, but the child suggested going to the rooftop for a walk. Fang Zheng agreed. On the rooftop, Shang Dongfang began to wonder what kind of strange teacher he had met, especially when Fang Zheng handed Shang Dongfang a cigarette. Shang Dongfang was completely stunned. "I waved my hands and was flattered. Teacher, I don't smoke." Fang Zheng said with a smile, "You don't smoke? Not smoking is a good habit. So you don't mind if I smoke one, right?" Shang Dongfang smiled and shook his head. Fang Zheng held the cigarette in his mouth, and Jiang Xia's figure flashed through his mind. In the end, he did not light it. He just leaned against the rooftop wall with the cigarette in his mouth to enjoy the breeze. "Are you having a bad time at school?" Fang Zheng asked. Shang Dongfang's eyebrows became very aggrieved and tightly wrinkled. "They all bully me, teacher, I don't want to go to school anymore." Fang Zheng glanced at Shang Dongfang and said, "Not going to school? Not going to school is good. If you don't go to school, you won't be bullied at school. You're very smart, but what about when you get out into society? What if you meet a jerk like your stepfather again?" Shang Dongfang shook his head. "I have no idea." Fang Zheng stared at his student, put the cigarette back in his pocket, and walked up to him. "Come and hit me. I'll teach you how to fight back. I want you to beat me. If those people bully you again in the future, just remember how you beat me tonight. Come on." Shang Dongfang frowned, "But I have never hit anyone." "Don't talk nonsense, just fight." Fang Zheng closed his eyes. After a long delay, the other party just scratched his face with his fist, which was not as painful as a mosquito bite. Fang Zheng sighed, "Don't hit me. If you don't hit me now, what will your mother do with you in the future?" Seeing Shang Dongfang showing hesitation, Fang Zheng knew that there was hope. Now it was just the last straw that could break the camel's back. He held up a finger. "This is your last chance. If you don't hit me, I will leave you alone. If you hit me like this, and you fight in school tomorrow, I guarantee that the school will not dare to punish you." Shang Dongfang saw Fang Zheng close his eyes again. He recalled his experience at school, slowly raised his hand, clenched his fist, closed his eyes, and punched Fang Zheng hard. "Teacher, I'm sorry." Chapter 26: The Night of Cohabitation. Shang Dongfang used all his strength this time, and Fang Zheng felt as if a heavy hammer had hit him hard in the face with that punch. He slowly opened his eyes, covered his slightly responsive right face, frowned and stared at Shang Dongfang. "You look so honest, how come you have so much strength?" Fang Zheng originally thought that this kid was not very strong and would not be able to do any harm to him even if he used all his strength. However, after one punch, he felt obvious pain on the right side of his face. Shang Dongfang also opened his eyes and saw his teacher's painful and rebuking expression. "I'm sorry, teacher, are you okay? I really didn't mean it. I have ice cubes at home, I'll get some for you." "Hey, wait." Fang Zheng embraced Shang Dongfang, scratched his right cheek with his hand and said, "Don't bother with the ice cubes. I'll remember this punch. If someone bullies you again in the future, and you hit them with less force than you hit me, I will punch you back. Do you know that? Fang Zheng punched Shang Dongfang's head several times, causing Shang Dongfang to scream in pain. You little brat. I told you to hit me but you still did it. I'm going home now. Don't let me down tomorrow. I'm leaving. Teacher, are you going back? You don't sleep as a teacher. I have a beautiful wife waiting for me at home. Next time you see my wife, remember to call her your wife. Oh, I see. Shang Dongfang touched his aching head and stared at his teacher's back as he walked towards the rooftop entrance. The sky was dark, but there was a glimmer of light in the boy's eyes. Thank you, Mr. Fang. Fang Zheng waved his hands behind him, but after showing off, his face started to hurt more. Is the damn system cheating me? Didn't it say that my physical fitness would be enhanced tenfold? Why was it that the enhancement was effective when I was fighting the strong man just now, but now it is ineffective after being hit by Shang Dongfang? Fang Zheng rubbed his face and walked downstairs from the rooftop. Unexpectedly, just as he passed the first corner, he saw a slender figure standing on the stairs late at night. It looks like a woman with long hair. Fang Zheng was stunned for a moment. There was a woman in the stairwell at midnight. His first reaction was that the building was haunted. His second reaction was that the figure looked familiar. With a materialistic attitude, he walked down a few more steps and found that the female ghost was quite pretty, exactly like Jiang Xiao. Is get out of class over, Mr. Fang? Jiang Xiao's unique and slightly indifferent female voice came into his ears. Fang Zheng curled his lips and smiled awkwardly. Xiao? Why are you here? Jiang Xiao pursed her lips and said, I came home from get off work and so that you were not at home. I called you but you didn't answer. Later, a neighbor told me that you were chatting with his son on the rooftop, so I came to check on you. Fang Zheng walked up to Jiang Xiao and asked, Did you see everything? Jiang Xiao nodded with a smile on her face, but she was very patient. When I saw you get punched by that kid right away, I thought you were fighting with someone, but after listening to a few words, I realized that Teacher Fang was teaching by example. Fang Zheng sighed and shook his head as he walked downstairs. It's not easy to be a teacher these days. Sometimes I really envy these kids. Jiang Xia followed behind. What are you envious of? Envy their youth. Fang Zheng replied, I envy them for finding such a good teacher like me. Why didn't I meet such a good teacher when I was in school? Jiang Xiao. This man's mouth is still so fresh and refined. The two returned home. They had to say that the design of this residential complex was quite awkward. The house that Jiang Xia bought was about 200 square meters in size. But Fang Zheng took a special look at Shang Dongfang's house next door when he just walked in. It was a little over 100 square meters at most. The gap between neighbors is so big. After returning to the apartment, the man didn't actually react at first that anything was wrong. He just felt particularly happy when he saw the bathroom in his new home, all kinds of shampoos and conditioners he had never seen before on the washstand, and the living room's decoration was very bright and new while washing his face. This is what a new home feels like. When Fang Zheng finished washing his face and brushing his teeth and returned to the living room, he saw Jiang Xiao, wearing stockings, sitting on the sofa and eating cookies. He then realized something was wrong. The woman took off the white shirt she usually wore for work and instead put on a loose white pajamas. Under the furry pajamas was Jiang Xiao's extremely delicate skin. There is always slightly curly long hair covering it, but the neck can still be revealed a little, making it simply irresistible. Fang Zheng stood at the door of the bathroom, stunned for a long time before he realized. Did he and Jiang Xiao officially start living together from tonight? Jiang Xiao pinched a piece of sugar-free biscuit with her slender fingers and looked at Fang Zheng who had just finished washing up. Do you only wash and brush your teeth before going to bed at night without taking a bath? Fang Zheng smiled and finally realized something. It seemed that he had forgotten where his bedroom was. As soon as I got home from work, apart from admiring the living room, I was busy with Shang Dongfang's affairs. I even forgot something as important as my private territory. I was just about to get my pajamas. Fang Zheng took a look at the structure of the house. It had 4 bedrooms and 1 living room, which meant there were 4 bedrooms in the house. Where was his room? After a round of inspection, he finally turned back to Jiang Xiao's face. Excuse me, where is my bedroom? Jiang Xiao stopped eating cookies, seemed a little hesitant, and pointed to a bedroom in the southwest, that one. Fang Zheng said thank you, but when he went to the bedroom, he felt something was wrong. The area of this bedroom is much larger than I imagined, and there are two single beds next to each other in the bedroom. Wait. Why two? When Fang Zheng saw the big wardrobe and opened it, his pupils shrank and he was completely shocked. It was filled with all kinds of Jiang Xiao's clothes. There seemed to be more than 3 or 4 pajamas alone, and there were also some boxes full of rolled-up stockings. He began to understand why there were 2 beds in the room. I opened the other door of the closet and found a few of my clothes inside. However, compared with Jiang Xiao's dazzling array of clothes, his own clothes from cheap stalls seemed not worthy of such a good wardrobe at all. Only the few pieces that Jiang Xiao bought for him a few days ago could be considered worthy of this wardrobe. Walking out of the room with pajamas in hand, Fang Zheng saw Jiang Xiao staring at him. For some reason, he suddenly wanted to laugh. God knows where this feeling of happiness and embarrassment came from. Xiao, will we both sleep in the same room from now on? Shouldn't we each have our own room? Jiang Xiao thought of what happened this morning and sighed. I'm afraid that if my aunt or my mother comes to check on me, they might find something unusual, so I'll sleep in the same room with you for now. Fang Zheng said, oh. That's right. Although the 2 single beds are in the same room, they are actually slept separately. If the elders come to check on us, we can just put the single beds together to fool them. Fang Zheng nodded, very good, I'm going to take a shower. By the way, are you going to take a shower later? If you do, I'll leave the light on for you. Jiang Xiao originally planned to take a shower, but then she thought that when she went into the bathroom, it would be filled with the smell of Fang Zheng. Feeling strange, the woman shook her head and said, I'll wash it tomorrow. Remember to flush the bathroom after you're done. I'll wait for you in the room. Hurry up. Fang Zheng went to the bathroom, and when he was taking off his clothes, he heard the sound of the lights in the living room being turned off. Suddenly, he remembered what Jiang Xiao had just said, waiting for me in the room. Isn't she going to sleep? Why is she waiting for me? Chapter 27, Moonlight Color, Female Fragrance. Although Fang Zheng always had doubts about whether Jiang Xiao would like him, after all, this woman had 2 high requirements. I have met many men, but when I think about what she just said, it still makes me think a lot. There's no way. There's a beautiful girl at home who walks around in patent stockings and furry pajamas all day long. It would be too much to ask you to have no reaction. After taking a simple shower and washing his face with cold water before going to the bedroom, Fang Zheng finally calmed down a little. The bedroom door was ajar, with only a red desk lamp on. Fang Zheng hesitated when he pushed the door open. I must have been wrong. She must have something to tell me later. But as soon as I opened the door, I saw Jiang Xiao sitting on her bed in the bedroom with only a dim desk lamp on. The incredibly beautiful jade hands slowly rolled up the stockings from the thighs to the calves. They are obviously just clothes, but it just feels different when I take this damn thing off. Bad things, why can't I look away? Jiang Xiao also looked up and saw Fang Zheng, and thought his expression was a little strange. After realizing something, the woman blushed slightly, took off her stockings faster, and said, go lie on the bed. Fang Zheng was startled, okay. He obediently went to the bed and crawled into the quilt, not daring to move. After Jiang Xiao took off her stockings, she closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Then he took a bag of something from the table and climbed onto Fang Zheng's bed. She really came. No way. Sit up. Jiang Xiao's voice carried a hint of command. Fang Zheng hummed again, okay. He sat up straight and glanced at Jiang Xiao in her pajamas. Because pajamas were designed to be loose, he could only see from the neck. The scenery is often extraordinary. How should I put it? The Big Dipper in the sky, the glacial water in the Arctic, are very unique and beautiful. Jiang Xiao asked, why are you so nervous? Fang Zheng didn't even dare to look her in the eye. Nervous? Are you? But Xiao, what do you want to do? As soon as he finished speaking, Fang Zheng felt a sudden chill on the right side of his face, which made his heart instantly chill. Jiang Xiao took a bag of ice and rubbed it slowly on Fang Zheng's face. Does it still hurt when you were hit by a student? Fang Zheng looked at Jiang Xiao's worried expression and he instantly breathed a sigh of relief. I said, this woman wouldn't do that. It's okay. It was a little painful just now, but it's much better now. My skin felt the ice pack moving slowly along with Jiang Xiao's palm, and I felt itchy in my heart, so I simply held the ice pack in my hand. I'll do it myself. This thing is pretty cool. Jiang Xiao hummed and retracted her palm. Press it for a while, otherwise if the students find out tomorrow that their teacher's face is swollen, I don't know what they will think. Fang Zheng leaned against the headboard and smiled. Not really. It was just a punch from a student. I didn't react that strongly. He quickly glanced at Jiang Xiao's body. Although the pajamas on the upper body covered her slender thighs, as the woman's body moved, he could still vaguely see the edges of her safety pants. Now Fang Zheng was completely relieved. What were you thinking when I told you to lie down just now? Did you think I would run into your bed? Fang Zheng almost vomited blood. Jiang Xiao suddenly smiled. Do you really think so? Fang Zheng chuckled twice, feeling somewhat ashamed. What a damn smart woman. As a man, you know. Please understand. It's mainly because you are too beautiful. I am easily tempted. When Jiang Xiao heard this, she pursed her lips more tightly, and then she and Fang Zheng leaned against the head of the bed. The two of them hugged each other tightly. Jiang Xiao asked, Can you tell me why you want to be a teacher? Judging from your ability to coax women, no matter which sales company in society hires you, you will have a bright future, and it will be much easier to make money than being a teacher. Fang Zheng must have thought about this question seriously. The system designated him as a teacher and gave him some rewards, which was indeed part of the reason, but the bigger reason was, maybe I'm just unlucky and haven't met a very good teacher in my life, so I want to try it myself to see if it works. So great. Fang Zheng curled his lips and said with a fake smile, It's mainly because the teacher often asked me to answer questions in class before. I wanted the younger generation to feel this kind of despair. I thought so when I was in school. Jiang Xia hummed, I can understand. Power. Since ancient times, men like three things: money, power, and women. She turned to look at Fang Zheng. Now that you have all three, how do you feel? Fang Zheng and Jiang Xiao looked at each other. There was no affection in their eyes, but they were very compatible. He took the opportunity to hold Jiang Xiao's hand, which was a little cold from holding the ice, with his left hand. The woman was stunned for a moment. Fang Zheng smiled and said, It feels good, but these three things do not completely belong to me at the moment, so the revolution has not yet succeeded. Comrades still need to work hard. Feeling the warmth of the man's palm, Jiang Xia slowly felt that her aura had weakened. She even didn't dare to look directly at Fang Zheng, so she pulled her hand away. He returned to his bed, placed a panda doll between the two of them, got into bed and said, I'm going to bed. I have a lot of things to do at the company tomorrow. Don't cross the line tonight, or you know the consequences. Fang Zheng watched the woman perform her moves smoothly. At the moment, I have only one thought in my mind: why did humans invent pajamas? Isn't it awkward to sleep in clothes? But despite what he was thinking, he applied ice to his face for a while, then lay on the bedside, looking out the window in the dim light. Thinking about a certain scene just now, I commented from the bottom of my heart, this moon is so white. Then he lay down and went to sleep. Jiang Xiao turned her back to Fang Zheng and stared at the window. Her fingers were tightly gripping the quilt. This was the first time for a woman to sleep in the same room with a boy, and she did not feel the disgust or rejection as she had imagined. Don't you feel disgusted at all? Maybe I can try using the bathroom after he takes a shower tomorrow. It should be quite warm. The sun is shining brightly, and it's another day. Except for Fang Zheng, Shang Dongfang from the next room actually didn't sleep all night. He helped his mother pack up for a long time, and then lay in bed for a long time in a daze until dawn. But Shang Dongfang's spirit and energy are getting stronger today. When he left the community, he didn't meet teacher Fang from across the street going out, so he had to take the bus to school according to his usual route. However, when he arrived at the school gate, Shang Dongfang saw a group of people waiting for him as usual, led by Ding Peng, who had an earring on his right ear. Dongfang, why are you so late at school today? Come here.